Thank you, everybody, for listening. Today, you got a treat if this is your first episode. If it is your first episode, shame on you. Longtime friend. I think it's 15 years to this year that I've known you. Seriously.
Yeah, I think sixth grade. So
yeah. So if we were 12, and we're 27 now, well, I'm older than you.
I'm 26, buddy.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah, but in reality, that's 15 years pretty much. 14, 15 years.
It's crazy.
It is.
I've been friends with you longer than I haven't not been friends with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. And I'm glad, because if that was the case, that would mean I'd be 30, and that just sounds super depressing.
Yeah.
Sounds super depressing. Yet the older I get, I'm not upset about it.
Me neither.
You know what I mean?
Aging gracefully.
Like when I started hitting like 23, 24, and that's when people can start finally saying like, you're old. You're old. Like that's when it kind of hurt a little bit. I was like, fuck, I am getting old.
Yep.
But now like once like the perspective comes in and like you can kind of be your own person, it's completely worth it, I feel. Like you're not someone's kid. You're your own fucking person.
Yeah, and I feel like I have enough regrets about my past that I'm glad that they're sort of gone.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a 21-year-old again at all.
Yeah.
Not too much good came out of that.
No, but for example, like everyone goes through their own shit, and whatever you're referring to in your own personal life has made you who you are today. So if there were bad times, it's going to make you appreciate the good times so much more. And that's one thing I always try to stress. It's like when someone, even to myself, when you're going through bad times, when it gets good, it's going to be you're going to appreciate that so much more.
Yeah, it's good times now, and I'm happy.
No, I see that. I somewhat stalk what you're doing. I know we haven't talked a lot, which I'm to blame some of that. You're to blame some of that. But we both are doing our own things separately, and even over the course of 15 years, it's hard to maintain the same relationship we had when we lived so close and went to school together.
Right.
And now you're doing your career in freelance, and I'm trying to figure out my course as well.
Yep.
So it's like not the same as when you're kids and you don't have shit to do. Like,
I think we were doing good for most of that 15 years, but I think the last couple years, it's when adulthood really kicked into gear and work kind of puts itself on the same level as your friendships almost. Yeah. But as far as like demanding the time. Yeah.
But like, no matter if I don't talk to you or not, like I don't think I've seen you since the wedding we were at.
Right.
And if I didn't see you for another year, I would still consider you as one of my best friends.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I think
it's just been there there for so long to where that's not going to go away, to where I can see you and it's like I've seen you yesterday.
Yeah. We don't need to write on each other's Facebook walls all the time to realize how much we love one another. I think that's a good thing.
I suck at social media.
It's a good thing.
You think so?
It's good to be bad at that. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think the people that are bad at it are the ones that are really good at it. Like people that post shit every day, I think that's the people that are bad at it. And if you can use it like if you're an artist and you use it just for that, you know what I mean? It's good to allow some of your personal life as well on there to allow people to know a little bit about you, but to maintain it in a way to where when you actually release stuff and do things on it, it's more a bigger deal than constantly just feeding information.
Bullshit,
yeah, because there's so many things going on any type of media that it's like it's almost impossible to find what's important and to actually suck in what you want to know. Like everything just goes in and out.
Yep.
And for some reason, like Charlie's Fingers video is just still in my head. Like you don't know what sticks. It's crazy.
You bit me.
Yeah. That's
a classic.
It is. And that shit has more views than like the trailer for Iron Man. It's like
it should.
Yeah. Well, that just shows that people appreciate real life stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping this podcast does.
No, I think that's definitely true. And I think as much as I dislike social media, it does a good job of showing a loyalty and then showing showing a loyal person and then showing a fan
Yeah.
who isn't invested in what you're doing.
Yeah. It's just like...
But
'cause those
one phone call from someone who you haven't heard from in a long time
Definitely.
could completely overshadow
Definitely.
someone who took a second out of your day, out of their day to wish you happy birthday.
I'm sorry I didn't call you on your birthday.
There's not real value.
But you didn't call me on my birthday
Shit,
either.
I don't even think I know your birthday. I don't know anyone's birthday.
Wait, what?
I don't know anyone. I don't barely know my dad's.
Your birthday is September 6th.
7th, you asshole.
Anthony's is...
see?
Cherokee's is September 6th.
I don't have a memory for numbers. It's no offense. It's
just kind of level out a little bit. Or pull that up,
You're December.
Yeah.
I know that much.
First day of winter. First day of every season. First day is... the last day is Sagittarius.
Is it
Christmas,
the 19th?
Baby. No.
Fuck.
No.
What is it?
Oh, it's the 21st.
All right. I was close. I knew it was double digits.
Yeah, it's all right.
I got there.
Everyone forgets because Jesus' birthday is definitely...
Yeah, and my dad's is the 20th, so that's probably why.
Well, now you should never forget.
I won't. I'll just listen to this.
Yeah, and every time it's Anthony's birthday, I'll remember to call you the next day.
Okay, thank you.
That's the way. I was super close. I beat you out by a couple days.
Yeah, 2.
All right, so the way I want to let people know why you're on this podcast, I got you a little present for being on here.
Oh, God.
No, it's nothing crazy.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you read or not.
I don't know how, but I'll look at the pictures if there is any.
There is. You're a photographer, so I picked out something that's would be interesting to you. So there's
Aw, Eric, thank you.
This is a book that I read. It's a New York Times bestseller. It's called Just Kids by Patti Smith, and Patti Smith was like a very influential American songwriter during like the punk rock era. But she went through a stage of visual arts, media arts, photography, drawing, and they're all things that I've seen you do. Mm-hmm. Like from the work that you've done. Like I remember going through your portfolio, and it was never just photography. Like photography is definitely where you're at, but I've seen different types of work from you. I remember that one thing I seen that I never forget. It was like layered paper of Ryan Dennell's back. And it was like,
that was a blind contour drawing.
What is it called again?
A blind contour drawing.
Yeah.
So the whole medium is about looking at your subject and never looking down at your paper and never lifting your pen. So you're literally tracing the lines and the features of their face, and you kind of wind up with this weird abstract drawing.
Yeah. But for some reason, like...
It's actually... right over there of Sam Cooke on my wall. That's also a blind contour.
Cool,
yeah,
awesome.
I did.
Yeah, but this kind of reminded me of you, since this person definitely has had a huge impact to where their book was a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah,
influential female, and I think that it matches you, and you reading this book.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Could be
cool.
Something you're interested in. One thing I've realized for me is reading like biographies and information.
I like the edges of this paper.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a different style book for sure.
Sweet, thank you. I will definitely read this.
You're welcome. Oh,
I opened up to page 85 by chance, and it says,
"Turn to the microphone."
It was good. Period. Male sex. Period.
It's so funny because when I first
deep.
when I it says it got deep.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's just too relevant to what I just read, I guess.
The first time judging a book by its cover, when I first saw that, on the back there's one review by Johnny Depp. Like he reviewed the book, and I thought that she was like a person who like was in the whole rock scene maybe as like a groupie.
Yeah.
And I completely judged her as
Johnny
someone
Depp.
She wasn't.
That's a badass review there.
Right?
Fuck the New York Times,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp's been around a lot, and he's been around a lot of people. I've realized that. You just might not recognize him because he wears makeup in everything he does. He's
awesome.
Covered, yeah, but whenever you have time, I know you got a busy life, but there's
always got time to sit down and do nothing. So
and there might be something out of there that you can pull. You know what I mean? There might
gain some strength.
Hit a switch.
From.
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It's awesome.
I read that
Books
probably
are good gifts.
Twice. I don't know if it's a chick book or not, but I appreciate an artist. And
there's no such thing as a chick book.
No?
Books are
Besides
genderless.
50 Shades of Grey.
I don't know, man.
Have you seen the movie?
We all have a little kink in us. Who knows? I've seen the movie. I thought the movie was terrible.
The movie sucked. It was Literally, it came on. I was with my girlfriend, and it came on, and I knew she seen it, and I know she wanted me to see it. And I just couldn't believe of how bad the acting was, first of all.
That's what it was, is the characters were...
That dude sucked.
The chick, I thought, was like not very...
It was awkward as
I didn't
fuck.
want to bang her. I know that much.
Fuck no.
So
no.
She was beautiful, but the role didn't fit her, and I guess that was the point. It was...
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't know. I didn't like it. Would not watch again.
And right when he like said "later, babes" more than once, completely discarded anything. My ears just put blockers on.
Yeah.
It was just done for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the whole like the fact that he was so bizarre in the way that he went about being a fucking
like
freak.
very American Psycho. Like,
yeah,
do not want to bang you.
Yeah,
and not at all. No.
And I just don't see this as a realistic situation. Like, yeah, he might be like some kind of billionaire or whatever, but some random girl who's a virgin is not going to just hop into that without a problem.
Sign a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore.
Right,
it's making me mad.
See, I told you, this is going to go in a way that you don't even know. But anyway, from knowing you for so long, you've kind of, what I've realized, everyone goes through fads and everyone goes through things that they're interested in. But I feel like in the past 5 years, you stayed at a point to where you're not changing.
Yeah, I think definitely I get to exercise my skills a lot, so I think I'm definitely strengthening them, but I don't really see myself going in a way that I haven't already.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't found myself at a dead end, but I think that I've definitely found like my niche.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
I'm always excited. Like you said before, I've always kind of been into something, whether it be I wanted to be a cake decorator when I was a kid, and then a dancer, an interior, not a stripper, a dancer, like for Janet Jackson. And I wanted to be an interior designer. I've always wanted to do something artistic. Yeah. And then when I was 13, I got my first digital camera, and then it was game over. Yeah, but even then, I've tried to work in other mediums with photography, whether it be... Well, I'm working on something now that brings another medium, but I don't want to say it because
cool. We can do that at the end.
Know.
Yeah, we don't put a time limit on it. You can't really like push your creative process because that's what fucks it up. I feel like when things fall into place, it comes out a lot better. And when
you want to enjoy it. That's the whole reason why you do it.
Yeah, when things are forced, like if there's a deadline on anything, I'm like, fuck that.
It becomes a chore. But yeah, I think that's the one thing that's kind of rewarding with photography is, you know, a photograph is instant gratification.
It is.
You take it and you get it immediately. So even now I look back on the work I did a year ago and my work is so much better now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to realize that unless I had this cohesive collection of work, I guess.
Yeah. What would you say for someone who doesn't know your style of work? I think that as a photographer in Philadelphia, there's a lot of people who do know your work, and I think that you've done a good job with like just communication and media communication and what you present and the way you present yourself.
Yeah.
And you definitely have like a good amount of fans and followings that pay attention to you.
I have fans?
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
Yeah, well, when I like this means different to other people. Well, when I go onto your Facebook, and you do a self-portrait and it has 200 likes, I think that shows that...
Have a lot of support.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There is. Like, some people might... could be little to other people or whatever, but, it shows that people care enough to where they want to show their support towards you.
Yeah.
And that's a lot more than I've seen from other people.
Yeah.
So, and also other great photographers, so it shows that, photography isn't just the way that you market your work or whatever. You don't have to hide taking a sip. We actually have...
my gin's rather loud.
I'm kind of glad that I brought a present because the second I get here, she pours me a great espresso. She gives me a glass of water, and then she goes, you know what? Why don't we get some gin and have some cocktails? So right now...
we got a buffet of libations going right now.
I don't really know what this combination is going to make me feel like. this podcast might end up being an hour or 24 hours.
Might be a mute in about 20 minutes when we die of a heart attack.
Yeah. It's like doing Jaeger bombs.
Oh, God.
Caffeine and alcohol.
Jaeger bombs.
Well, there's juice in this, so it's healthy.
And it's from Whole Foods, so, we're doing good things for ourselves right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is pink grapefruit Italian
vitamin
soda.
C all up in that soda.
That's the shit I need.
Yes.
It's not that I'm sick. It's just I have some congestion in here right now.
Yep.
And I smoked a cigar last night, which completely was a horrible idea.
Oh, God.
I'm not a cigar smoker, but I for some reason like a coffee infused cigar is amazing. Like
That sounds very bougie.
Bougie.
A coffee cigar?
It's like, so cigars, they all smell like shit, but...
Yeah, some people like that, though.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to like it a little bit. I enjoy smoking, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But actually slowed down a lot, and I found the cheapest way to smoke cigarettes by rolling my own. Not because I want to, it's just because in order to smoke a cigar, I got to work for it. And I always don't want to do that. So I could either just spend the $8 and pull them out whenever I want, or I could spend $4 and work for it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely cut back on a lot of my smoking. I would smoke a pack a day easy. And now it's probably like 7-8 cigarettes a day.
That's good. And it's just tobacco, so there's not all those chemicals in there,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, yeah,
also, so that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
But wait, what were you about to say? You were about to say...
I have the worst ADD ever, and I can't remember.
It was before the gin happened. Do you remember? I think it was something relevant to photography.
It was definitely something.
Oh, I think you were about to ask me the question I hate most, which is how would I describe my photo style?
Yeah. No, it's crazy because I didn't think I was thinking that, but I didn't think that I said that.
You were about to say something. You were heading that way. I could tell because that's every time I get hired for a wedding, they ask me that question over the phone, and I've already got an answer for you because I answer it all the time.
Good. All right. So, out of the blue, how would you describe your photography? Not the work that you do for other people, but what you love doing.
What I do.
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe it is more of like a thoughtful photojournalism. Whereas and what I mean by that is a photojournalist is expected to go into this crazy situation and pull out like really thoughtful, well, you know what, not thoughtful. They're supposed to capture an organic moment in a really
like
beautiful
Vice,
way.
Kind of.
Right. Like, someone who's taking photos for National Geographic or at a rally or something like that, you have to make the best photograph out of what's happening. Mm-hmm. Whereas with my photography, I don't like a stage environment. I don't like doing photo shoots where I'm working with a model. I think that's too much control.
Like studio work?
Right. Or even just editorial stuff. Yeah. Not really my thing. I can do it, but it's not what I get off with. And so a photojournalist is the exact opposite of that. There's no control.
Yeah.
Whereas I like working candidly in a controlled environment. Yeah. Which is why I like shooting weddings. Mm-hmm. It's why I like. So one of the biggest projects I'm working on is with Tamworth Distilling. It's the small distillery in New Hampshire, and we never really know what's going to happen, but I know that I'm kind of getting, 2 guys distilling or foraging for plants that they're going to then distill in the alcohol. So it's more controlled, but it's equal parts skill, and then it's equal parts of, I guess, cooperation on my subject.
Yeah. Do you
if that makes sense.
So
no,
it completely
more
does.
Romantic photojournalism.
Yeah, no, I really like your work. I always have. And even like the stuff that you post not as your photography but just to document your life is super interesting. Like if you're having like avocado, you'll slice it in this fucking sweet way and put it on a wood grain table and have like a knife that's like,
oh God, you're making me hate myself right now.
No, but it's good. People do that and it's stupid, but your shit looks good no matter which way you put it. And I remember going to it might have been your first gallery that you had at the G Lounge.
Oh yeah.
When you had your work on glass with the clamps.
Oh yeah, it was plexi with binder clips.
Yeah, and all your work was super candid, and like all the other artists there, you could tell were like.
It was fashion photography.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that, and I think one part of that is that I don't like group work. And
group work.
Yes, I don't like. I like being responsible for the end result. I like saying like, this was all me. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely someone that I know is easy to work with.
Yeah. And so. I mean, I guess it depends, but I do get really territorial and I am like very set in my ways when it comes to photography or like any kind of art that I'm producing at all. Yeah. But with fashion photography, I think it's such a group effort. You depend on the model. You depend on the stylist. There's so many aspects that you're not responsible for. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a photographer. I was like, I want to take photos for fashion magazines.
Is that how you used to sound?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
I think it's just the gin. It's getting to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I found my role as a photographer, I kind of let go of that. And I said, in order to be a photographer, I don't need to be in fashion magazines. No. There's another outlet for me.
Completely.
And
there's unlimited outlets.
Yeah. So
there's literally no cap on anything. Like I've seen, my friend's dad's a photographer. I will name drop, but I don't know their name, and I am sorry that I can't give him the credit that he deserves. But he does a lot of drawings on his photography. Like,
yeah. I've seen that. It's
and
sick.
Paint it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's like, really cool.
It's so cool. And it's like, I never thought of that. You know what I mean? And then I see people that project film, and they project it onto, like, objects. Like, they'll do it onto wood. Like, they'll somehow...
So it's interacting with... That's like what they do in New York on Saks Fifth Avenue. They do projections.
That is where I see it.
It interacts with... There's like people going in and out of what's actually windows, but it looks like they're going in and out of doors and things like that. It's cool.
Yeah, I seen this guy up in Brooklyn at like the place where they do like this big outdoor flea market type of thing, but it's like all artists. And this guy would take film photographs and somehow put it onto wood, wet it, and peel to where the image would come off, but it almost looked like a weird Polaroid.
I know what you're talking about. I think they actually showed at G Lounge once as well. They used some kind of gelatin or... I'm not sure what they use, but yeah, they just do image transfers on whatever they want. And I actually learned that in college. It's a matte medium transfer where you can take... matte medium that you use to like mix paints, acrylic paints, and you paint the matte medium on any surface, put a reversed inkjet print down on it, you like press it down, let it dry, and then you just take like a wet rag and rub the paper away, and the ink has then stuck to the matte medium, which is sticking to whatever.
It's on photo.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's really easy. Yeah. It's literally like Mod Podge, if you've ever heard of that shit.
I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Mod Podge. I'm pretty sure they have, but it just sounds like a noise you made with your mouth. Yeah. It doesn't sound like it exists.
I just made it up, actually.
No, what is Mod Podge?
It's like a glue that you use to transfer things. You get it at any art store.
Okay.
I don't know what it's actually for, but we used it to do image transfers.
All right, well then that's what it's for.
Yeah, or you can like if you do a puzzle and you're too proud to take it apart, you can like glue it together. And
okay. Yeah. I understand what you mean. So you were Philly Raw Artist of the Year.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen.
No, don't bring up the video.
Okay. No,
I have actually. Lately, I've been thinking about emailing them and being like, can you fucking take this down? Because, as an artist, you do have to Google your name, especially since I do wedding photography. Yeah. And when you Google my name and that shit is the first thing to come up.
Comes
and
up
I am
first?
Yeah, well, it's like the only video of me ever.
Do you want me to cut this? Because if people are someone interested, they're going to fucking do it.
I think this is great. We all have our moments of humility. And I was
Explain the situation.
Okay.
Because I can do it in my way, but I already told you it.
Okay, I've got a really good explanation. So, so I was a raw artist this was when I was like 21. I had just turned 21, and I was approached to have a gallery like in the city. And as a girl from the Northeast, I was like, this is the most legit shit that's ever going to happen to me. And so it winds up being a bit of a scam. You have to sell 20 tickets for $20, and you see none of that money. And then you can sell your prints, but the kind of photography I take, I don't like to sell my prints. Yeah. So I don't. And anyway, I'm getting kind of off track, but that's good. Raw Artist. And it's about, I think it's like 20, 30 artists. They all go to a bar and they set up this little gallery. And for the most part, this is all of our first Damn, Eric, going in on that gin.
Yeah, you already finished your drink, and I feel like a bitch, so I just had to put it down.
Don't worry, we have a full bottle right here.
All right.
But this, for everyone showing there, it's basically our first opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, to show our work. We're in the city. It just feels so good. And after that, there was a online poll, you know, who's the best photographer, who's the best fashion designer, painter, fine artist, body painter. What they had
a lot of categories.
Yeah, they had so many different categories and mediums, dancing, all kinds of stuff.
Playing.
Yeah, and people voted online. You know, out of all of the artists, I managed to get to like the top 10, and then I managed to get to like the top 5. I think it was.
Yeah, well, that's not coincidental, Bree.
The thing is, all right, I'll get into that later. But then they had a Raw Awards situation where everyone again showed up, set up a gallery, and we sat around with these clipboards for like 3 hours. And I was born and raised in Philly, so everyone I've ever known lives here. So that's where I get all of my support.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like a lot of the other artists, I had this unfair advantage where they're like, okay, I'm from Cali. I have 5 friends here that I met in college. None of my family is here. Mm-hmm. Me, like everyone. My fucking grandmother was there. So we just sit around with these clipboards, and people go around judging each category, mine being photography, obviously, and people give us these little stickers on our clipboard. And you're sitting there for 3 hours. Everyone I know is there buying me drinks. Mm-hmm. Poison of choice that night was gin and tonic. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think I was going to win, honestly. There were other like very talented photographers, and that shit was just stressful. That I didn't even want to win. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be let down or feel dumb. So I accidentally got drunk, very drunk. I don't even remember winning at all. Well, I remember like people clapping and then walking up on stage.
There's images you have.
Oh my God.
Of what it was.
And then they do an interview with you when you win. And I was so wrecked that my eyes are just glazed over. I'm talking a lot with my hands. I hit the woman's microphone who's interviewing me, and she's asking me these really, you know,
intellectual,
deep questions. Where do you see yourself? What did you do to get here? Like all those things. And I'm just like, I'm just glad. I don't know what's gonna happen. I was just speaking very like transcendentally. Like I'm just like, ever the world is good.
Yeah,
photo is good.
You were vibing.
Oh, so drunk.
Yeah. Wearing
leather pants. It was a train wreck. Yeah. It was bad. And now that video is still up.
How many people have said things to you about that? Because everyone, I assume everyone knows you, knows your personality, and seeing that,
it's not surprising. It's just sort of like, oh, Bree, like being a dumbass.
Yeah, but you like the party. We all like the party. Yeah, drink.
But the worst part about it is that no one says anything to me about it. It's that it'll come up in conversation and they're like, oh yeah, I saw that shit. Yeah. So it's like bad enough that they're like, I'm just going to keep this to myself.
I don't remember when I brought it up to you.
It's cringeworthy.
But I was waiting to see you after that. I'm like, she's fucking wrecked on this video. And
my God. Well, that's the thing. That's why Raw was just so weird. It's basically like,
are you still involved
show
with this?
Your art in a nightclub, get drunk, and then try to represent yourself. Like it's such an oxymoron.
Well, when everyone else is drunk, it doesn't nothing appears abnormal.
Yeah.
But we're talking about watching this video on YouTube like 8 in the morning. Like, oh shit, let me see
and
this.
I think I was 21.
Yeah.
So remember what I said before why I didn't want to be 21 again?
Yeah.
One of the tangible reasons of why I don't want to be 21 again. But yeah. But no, I'm not involved with Raw at all.
Okay. So the little remarks you're making, you don't give a fuck.
No. Okay. I really loved it before, and it was really a cool thing to be a part of. Yeah. And I think it was who was running it. It was my friend. Well, we became friends after I got involved with Raw. Fred Callalang. Yeah. And he does things with, God, I always forget. I think it's Fringe Arts. Merge Arts, I believe it's called. It's something that he's working on right now.
The Fringe Arts does like plays and all types of art
so
forms.
This is Merge Arts. It's like a nonprofit that I think he's working on. I don't really know anything about it.
Everyone check out what's it called again?
Merge Arts.
Merge Arts, because it's something I didn't hear about. And
I honestly I don't know what it is. He's
fine.
spoken about it like, oh, I'm doing this with Merge Arts, but nothing ever specific.
It just shows you how there's so many things going on at all
that we
time.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I think was really invested in it. He really, even now you'll see him walking down Broad Street with like a 19-year-old kid who's trying to be an artist. Like he's just a really nice crutch for people. He's, I think he might be more on like the PR end of things. Like he's not so much an artist himself, but he appreciates it. And he really like strengthened me as an artist, I think, just to, he gave me the opportunity to have my first gallery and, though I don't think it really holds any stature, I think to say at the time I thought it was awesome that I was voted photographer of the year in Philly.
But no matter what,
now I look back and I'm like, it's bullshit. But
yeah, but at the same time, if somebody sees that, like that's a resume, like that's like
I do have that shit on my LinkedIn.
Fucking right.
I will tell you that.
Yeah, because that. But
now it's just a money pit. You have to sell these tickets.
I know. I've read the whole pyramid scheme, and not pyramid scheme, but I have no hate on any art organization and someone who's going to represent art. But me doing this is I'm trying to do it in a way to where everyone can be involved, and it's not a money thing or anything. I just think
no loopholes.
Yeah, it's just people need to be exposed, and people need to find a way to have an extra little push, and if it's to come on here and to talk about it and somehow, they get discovered by somebody looking at a different podcast or something. Yeah. That's what I really want. And I want people to be connected and use this as like some kind of medium for all types of way to contact artists, hire artists, collab, and do that. And I feel like other art organizations you need to be, I don't know, there's like qualifications and stuff like that, and art's subjective, so it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's PDN magazine or some kind of photo magazine that's online.
Are we doing this up?
Oh, yeah. Pour it up, dog.
Yeah? All right, say when, because I don't know how you made it. It was really sweet, so I don't know.
You're the bartender. What do you do, 2-second pours?
What?
How does this work?
It depends if it's
on how much you like the person?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's cool?
2-finger pours.
2-finger pours? Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that Raw didn't offer anything.
$6.
Yeah, offer anything good. I think it does strengthen artists. It gives them the confidence. It's kind of their first foot in the door.
I was super stoked for you.
It's shitty when someone says,
"Thank you,
I'm going to give you this great opportunity," but then you have to sell me 20 tickets at $20 a pop. I mean, that's. Like I said, if you're not from Philly and most of your connects or loved ones are somewhere else, like you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
It's such a buzzkill.
That's how it is.
It's just not. It's making money off of people who are broke. It's just not right.
It's like this one thing that I'm fucking tired of. That I've mentioned on this podcast before, but it's something I'm gonna beat into the ground because I think it's something that people need to realize that. When people approach artists to do something for them that they're going to make money off of and say, this is exposure for you, they're just saying, we're not fucking paying you.
Right.
And it's not fair to make money off somebody that you're not giving money to. Like, they deserve a piece of the pie no matter where they are. If you're using them to make money, they deserve a piece of the pie.
It's crazy. It's like calling a plumber and being like, hey, I need you to fix my toilet. But when anyone comes over to take a shit, I will let them know that you are responsible for that flush.
Yeah.
Like, you're good with me, man.
That's a perfect example.
It's crazy.
That's the greatest comparison. But there's also a double side to that because as an early artist, you should take opportunities like that when you feel it's right, especially if it's something you like, because you'll still like
and
it.
I do still do things like
We all
pro bono,
do.
like, and I'm just like, sometimes if it's a project I believe in, you know, if I've had people who are like, oh, I'm trying to start this, trying to start that, and like I have a couple of my friends started this really awesome, it's like housewares line called Beach Hall.
Okay.
And they did.
I'll check them out because I'm. You know what I mean, there's no limit on my guest stuff.
Yeah, I have the lookbook that I actually shot over on my desk, and it's like beautiful pottery, housewares, jewelry, and I loved what they did so much that I was kind of honored that they even asked me to do it.
Yeah. Wait, so what exactly did you do for it?
Just photography. It was like studio stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
It was just an honor to be a part of, and we spent like 10 hours on it. It was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But in the end, when they had the release party, I felt proud that I was involved in some way.
Yeah.
So I am like not at all prideful. Like I will get involved with things.
Yeah. And you did that just to do it, not.
Yeah, they asked me, and it was it was. You know, and there's nothing that they could do for me. Like, you know, so it's not that I was even doing it for a trade sometimes, but I would be open to do that too.
But for example, like when they say this is for exposure, they're completely right because at that meeting,
and they didn't even,
you can meet somebody that's going to change your fucking life. So you should take opportunities that you feel are the right decisions to make, but at the same time, you can't let people take advantage of you.
Right.
And it's a hard judgment.
It's how you position the question. It's not, hey, I'm going to give you exposure, because I could be giving them just as much exposure as they're giving me.
Exactly.
But if they say, I'm starting this project, I trust you to get involved with me. I really need a favor. If there's something I can do for you, you know, like one-to-one, like person to person, like, let's fucking help each other thrive. But don't try to angle it to me like you're trying to help me out. Like, you're not helping me out. Yeah. I'd rather sit on my ass on a Saturday than shoot something.
Yeah, that's why
for free.
I tried to explain this podcast to you before we started shooting in a way to where, because for example, like somebody can relate that situation.
Getting angry over here
to what I'm doing. This shit'll happen. There's fucked up shit going on, and I'm trying to solve this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For example, I also feel almost hypocritical having these conversations because right now, me coming to you is like, I know that you're talented and people are going to want to listen to you, so they're going to come onto my show, in a sense. But I want them to
but
come
you're
on
also
for
giving
you.
me a stage to speak whatever's on my mind, you know.
I think
I want to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So this isn't like doing you a favor.
Yeah, no.
We're just hanging out.
And that's why I'm bringing all my guests gifts to show appreciation, and like I'm trying to reach out to people that I think deserve credit. And you mean, I know that you've been doing camera work and stuff like just as long as I have, and in that period of time that you're networked, you could probably think of like 50 people that you can consider like colleagues.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Is all the people that I've worked with that I think are creditable, that have websites, that are doing it more than just like for the look. Like I don't want to give my audience someone that's a fraud.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want to give them somebody that is really doing something that they love doing, and that is authentic, and that they can get something from this. Because I think that there's a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because pursuing art is intimidating as fuck.
Yeah.
And when a photographer can come onto this podcast and listen up to here, and they hear you talking about things and the way you got into things, and you say it so nonchalantly, and you know what I mean, your experiences, and you're just an average person. And everyone's just an average person.
Right. No,
you know what I mean?
100%.
It's the way that you go about doing things, and I think that, I mean, your story is definitely could be inspirational to people, and that's why I think having you on here is good.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like I went about it in a little more like unconventional way.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't just like go to college, graduate, and get a job. I kind of just busted my ass.
Yeah. No, you're
doing as many photo jobs as I can.
You're a hard fucking worker.
And I mean, it feels like it's all I do sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely indulge in fun whenever I can.
No,
but
for sure. You work hard, play
hard. It's funny about who I wind up surrounding myself with, like aside from you and like a few other people, is that I am not always friends with artists. I don't know how to say this in like a non-offensive way, but it's, we grew up in Northeast Philly, obviously no art scene. There's a few of us who kind of fell into it. We got into it in high school and then pursued it in general, like in life. And, but I look around at my friends and, they're creative in their own ways, whether it be writing or drawing or,
Are these people down here in South Philly that you've met, or are these people that I know?
Just people we both know. Okay. It's like collectively, my closest friends are not artists.
Yeah.
I find that I don't click with artists as much as that wasn't me for the record. Yeah, that was Eric burping. But do you know what I mean? Like I click with people who have a like personality as me, but not the same interest.
Yeah, they say night and day, people collide. Yeah, like me and my girlfriend
take themselves so seriously.
Me and my girlfriend are very different people.
Yeah, like I don't. Besides this, like I don't fucking want to talk about photography. When I'm at a bar and people come up to me or send me an email asking me what kind of camera to get, I'm like, dude, I don't want to Google it either. Like you figure, like we're not bonding on this right now. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to get down on this level with you.
I know that. You know what I mean? That a lot of your interest is in your context. And you're not like your equipment, but you're not like a tech savvy person. Like I've had convos with people that are like tech savvy as shit that will go into like ratios and
like when I take my full frame 5D Mark III and I put it on my 24-70. Yeah, it's like.
But when somebody comes to you for advice, I think that you should take that as like a huge compliment.
I do. I mean, it is nice that they think of me, and I'm not trying to come off as an asshole at all.
No, you're not. So
I think it's like a cheap way of connecting. I like to connect with people on like more of a different level, I guess, of like our personalities are clicking. We can have a good, solid conversation about whatever the fuck. But I don't know. It's.
So what I think for
when I was in art school, I feel like I made any friends.
Yeah.
Because I was just like.
How did you? This is something that I love
like
asking
some
people.
Chill ass people from Northeast Philly, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was having a conversation with somebody else, and we're saying how Philadelphia has such like a cool vibe because it's like household and like family people, and it's like a tight knuckle of people. And the artists that are coming out of Philadelphia are the children of these people.
Right.
So it's like they're just average people and they're nice people that are doing stuff other than like a huge mecca like New York where everyone's trying to be somebody and create something and live in like that dog eat dog kind of like
it's
going
stressful.
After. Yeah, but here it's kind of like
I'm a chill person with great values and I just so happen to be an artist also.
Yeah.
And that's what I like in anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't want to know what someone's about before you know their name. What it is, I think it's people who aren't legit that they have to be like just like they put on a front.
Oh, for sure, and they got to tell you everything.
Yeah,
they can't walk. They talk the talk, can't walk the walk. That's the story.
My favorite thing is at bars. Like if a guy comes up to me, like I'm a nice person. I'm gonna, hey, how are you? Like what's going on? The one time this kid was like. I asked him what he did for a living, and he says that he's a photographer. He just started shooting things for skateboard magazines, and I was like, "Oh, no way!" I mean, I could tell this dude was also like 22 years old or something. Yeah. Not that that's anything, but he's younger than me. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I shoot for magazines. I do skate photos and yada yada yada." And I'm like, "Oh really? I'm a photographer too. Like I work in advertising."
Yeah.
And his face just like. He shit the bed. And he's like, wow, I'm dealing with someone who knows what they're talking about. And then he's like, add me on Instagram. And he's like, you check it out. And I'm looking at his work and I'm like, you're not a photographer, dude. Like you're someone who took a photo with depth of field on accident and you're running with it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't meet people and say like, oh, by the way, I'm a photographer. This is how I'm successful and go down a list.
Yeah.
Whereas when other people do that, they don't have anything going for them in that field. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That isn't how it works.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to detect.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know if I'm making any sense right now.
No, you are, because that's one thing that I really, really want to like stick with on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like I said before, is not having fraudulent people on here, because I don't want to give my audience someone who's not legit.
Yeah.
Like that's wrong of me. So once I get past my network of people and get in the flow of this, I'm doing like open calls for people who want to come on, because I want to get everybody that deserves to be on here, or everyone that is doing something to get a chance to express himself and talk like this and be included with everyone else that's involved. But I'm going to have to research them to see what the deal is with them, because I can't go by their word.
Or maybe like sit down for coffee first.
Or have a conversation, because not everyone's interesting, and I don't want to have a conversation with somebody who's just
has not
dull.
much to say.
Yeah. Like it's hard. It's going to be hard to judge, and I feel people that are doing it, like that are super passionate, doing research is going to be easy to tell on what type of person they are, because you can't fake your work. You can't fake. You can fake a conversation and say what you're doing, but if you don't have like a portfolio or a website or even just a YouTube, or you put your shit on Facebook, like where are you trying that I put you on here and tell whoever's listening that check you out, when really, why should they?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I actually had somebody, when somebody messaged me and said, I mean, I'm interesting, I want to be on your show. And
God, I feel like that right there. As soon as someone says, I'm interesting, you're like,
and so I said,
I don't think so.
So I said, what makes you a candidate?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they said, what makes you a person to interview me? Which I do understand at an aspect. So I gave them like my kind of credentials of what I've done and why I led to this point.
Right.
And it's not just like I'm a great host or I'm a great talker or anything. It's like, if you understand the idea of this, I'm trying to give you a chance to express your way in a certain way, and I'm doing this out of my pocket and everything, because I really am passionate for passionate people, and I want these people to succeed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I am an artist, and I'm a cinematographer, photographer, so there's things that I've done, so I know the industry and certain art industries, so I have qualifications to say who I think should be on and shouldn't be on. Right. You know what I mean? Because
you have good taste.
Yeah, you can tell good from bad. And that's one thing that I think that I feel like I can do, is tell the shit from the good. And I only want to present the good. And I'm not saying that I'm super qualified to be the one to release all this information, but it's like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, but is anyone? I think you just got to be the person to step up to the plate to do
completely.
it. It's not, you don't have to have credentials of
I'm doing it
being able to speak with people.
Yeah, I'm doing it because, for one, I love talking to people. Yeah. And when, like I was telling you earlier, being a cameraman and doing freelance, what really attracted me towards the work was the context of what I was doing. Right. And when the camera was off, I was having more fun and enjoying.
So you enjoy the group work. Yeah. Which is.
The group work, yes, but just where the camera led me. Like, it led me to interesting topics and interesting people. Mm-hmm. And those people are really what I'm interested in. So it took me a while to realize that it's not just I'm a huge fan of photography or videography. I am, but I'm more of a fan of what I'm doing it of. I'm passionate. The easiest way to explain it, I'm passionate for passionate people. Right. And it's like, how can I make that into something? And I figured this was the best way to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a good outlet for it.
You know what I mean?
Like, I recently had a conversation with another photo friend about how we think social media, specifically Instagram, has made such a disconnect between photography and photographers. Mm-hmm. Whereas to say like you can be considered a photographer and you don't even know how to take a photo anymore. You have a successful Instagram following, suddenly you're a photographer.
Wait, just from taking iPhone photos, you're saying?
Well, yeah, and it's great. Like, I'm not saying you need to use the best camera in the world to make the best photo.
Yeah, the context is what shines the photo.
Instagram and Instagram fame is creating photographers before the photographer is able to present their portfolio on Instagram. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you become an Instagrammer and then suddenly you're a photographer.
Yeah.
And for photographers like myself who, you know, you have like I have an Instagram following, but it's not at all a priority. And so it makes me second guess myself. Like, okay, does someone with 100,000 followers who takes photos of, you know, hands holding a coffee cup with a little leather journal next to it gets thousands of likes, does that mean that they're a better photographer than me? No, like, does it?
No,
and then I mean, to me, no, but they're then considered, they get interviewed for all of these articles in art magazines and art blogs where they're saying they're being considered a photographer and all they do is have a social media account.
Yeah. Well,
and it's disheartening. I think it's created such a disconnect and it's oversaturated everything to where I probably couldn't even list 5 photographers who I aspire to be because it's so oversaturated with this lifestyle garbage.
Yeah.
And
but at the same time, there's something there within that is captivating to where people are becoming fans of that. You know what I mean?
I think it's based off of envy. I mean, it's people who...
What do you mean, envy?
I think these people who have this huge Instagram following are presented their lives in such like a manufactured way of, this is what my morning coffee looks like on the windowsill. And this is what my beautiful friends look like. And this is the vacation I go on. And they're just choreographing their life to be this amazing thing where it's like reality stars where they're addicting to watch because you're like, God, is this what life could be? And
look at...
I don't like it.
Well, look at YouTube phenomenons. Like Jenna Marbles or like boyfriend-girlfriend thing or pranks versus pranks and all that kind of stuff. Like, these people are just logging their regular life, but millions of people view that.
But it's not the regular life. Like, I know people who do this, and we can't do shit without them taking a photo of it. Like, oh, why did you... I was at brunch the other day, and this chick was with her boyfriend, and he goes to take a bite out of his sandwich, and she's like, oh, why did you do that? I didn't take a picture yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like... So these people whose lives you're envying, remember that they're putting their life on pause so that they can take a picture so that you can aspire to have that kind of thing. That's
one thing I've seen. Sorry.
No, it's cool. I think it's added like such a humility to photography too, because now I'm a photographer. I wouldn't take pictures of lots of things.
Yeah.
I'm not always on, but sometimes when I pass something like on the street, I want to take a photo. But now I carry this humility with me because I don't want to be like one of those fucking people who's just taking photos of everything they do. They can't enjoy the moment. They can't live their lives. And it's cringeworthy to me. So I miss out on photo opportunities because I don't want to fit in a box the new generation fits in.
But you're not. So don't let that shit affect you.
It is my problem. I think I kind of got to grow out of that and accept the fact that
I never thought about
who the fuck. Yeah, who cares? I'll take a picture of what I want, but I think that whole lifestyle and that whole way of living now through social media and broadcasting everything you do has made me way more aware of it and self-conscious to where when I go on vacation, I feel like I barely even take photos because I want to experience it. So,
for sure. Like this person that you're saying at lunch with the photo,
right?
It's like, let's just experience what we're having here.
Let's eat our goddamn food. Like, why are we going to let it get cold before we take a photo of it?
And more in depth, like we're out to lunch and we're friends and maybe we haven't seen each other or maybe the things we need to talk about, but instead it's more important that she feels that she wants everyone that follows her to see what she's doing more than what she's actually doing.
Yeah, she wants everyone to know how much she enjoyed her beautiful lunch more than she actually did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that...
I had a problem with that with previous people that I was involved with, that, you know, it was more about
embarrassing.
It's more about a scene than what it is. Like, I'd be arguing with somebody and not be on good terms, but say we're in a cool location, it's like, hey, smile for this photo.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're in an argument right now, and yet
leave me alone.
Yeah, and yet you want to take a photo of where we're at because all your followers will see that you got it good.
Yeah, it's just so twisted to me. And I think because the way of getting your life out there, the only way is through photography. You take a photo of everything you do.
Yeah.
So that has tainted it for me a little bit.
Everyone's got a camera in their pocket.
Which is not only disturbing, but...
It's a good camera, too.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, like, it doesn't come from a place of jealousy. I mean, because I'm a photographer. I don't want to look at shitty photos ever. Like, if all I'm doing is looking at great photos that people are taking, great. Like, the answer to world peace is, like, more art in my head. You know what I mean? So it's not that I'm hating on it. I want everyone to create beautiful things. Yeah. But
in whatever way they can.
Like, for the right reason. Like, don't... Yeah. And, like, let's not copy one another. Let's not have to put everything we do on blast. Yeah. Let's not put our life on pause so that we can humble brag. And... I think, honestly, like when I was 21, when I was 20, you know, when I was much younger, I would take selfies and that kind of thing. I was single. I was partying. It was also when the internet first was social media was starting to explode.
Yeah, but I don't call your things selfies. I call yourself self-portraits, and that's always been a professional thing that people
Before, I would be like, this is what I'm eating. I feel pretty today, so I'm going to take a photo. Now, I feel pretty, and that's all I do is I feel pretty, and then that's it. I don't take a picture of it. I don't have to show people because I feel it. And
there's people out there that literally if they post a photo like that, their emotions are affected by the amount of likes and comments
so
they
then
get on that.
I feel pretty. I put it up on the internet, and then now I'm giving everyone the ability to take that good feeling away from me.
Yeah.
And it just seems so ass backwards that I think I think social media is really great in some ways. Yeah. I think it gives us an outlet for what we're doing right now.
Right now is the best time to live in the history of mankind. And especially this communication.
We're taking advantage of it, and I think it could I think it's gotten dirty fast.
No, something's gonna fucking break.
Yeah.
And
I think it is.
Fucked up.
I think a lot of people are, have you seen that short video with Kirsten Dunst?
No.
It's a really cool clip. I guess she just did a project with some kind of videographers. You could tell it's really cool. Yeah. It's like this little snippet. It's probably 3 minutes. It's of Kirsten Dunst standing on a corner in LA, I think, and she's waiting for her ride to pick her up. She's like standing outside of a mansion or something. And cars are going by. She keeps looking up thinking it's going to be her friend. And then finally, this car pulls up and these two girls say, "Oh my God, is that Kirsten Dunst?" And she's like, yeah, very kind. Like, yeah, hi guys. And immediately they go up to her and they start taking selfies. And she's like, hey, do you guys want to talk to me? You want to ask me any questions? Was there anything you were wondering about? And they're just like, can you please tilt your head this way? And the one girl, and then Kirsten Dunst is like, don't you want your friend to take a photo for us? Like, why are we doing this selfie thing? Yeah. And she's like, no, I don't trust her, she says about her friend. And they're just sitting there. They take photos, and then Kirsten Dunst continues to talk to her fans, and they're just uploading the photos on Facebook. They get in their car and they walk away. Yeah. That's all acted, by the way.
It's ass backwards.
But videos like that are becoming more aware of the situation, and now I think we are pulling ourselves back.
Well, this internet thing and social media thing just bursted. And there's no cap on it, and there's no information on it, and it's going in a direction where anything can happen, and we don't know about it. We can look at past experience and the way things affected stuff, but this is happening now. So,
and we're the last generation to know what it is to not have the internet.
Yeah.
Which I'm not religious, but it's a blessing because I know what my life should be.
Like, you remember not having a cell phone.
Right. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have the internet. I know how to go into a library and pull out a catalog and locate it with an index card.
Yeah.
I know that if I want to see someone, I'm allowed to go knock on their door and say, like, can you want to hang out?
Yeah. I was gonna knock on her door when I first got here.
Yeah, but you texted and you called me.
But I know that I saw the 2 doorknobs.
Oh yeah, they're broken.
Two
you got lucky.
ringers. So I was like, if I knock on this shit, I don't know where I'm knocking.
Yeah.
If you live upstairs, it's no use.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I was actually being like, I'm gonna do old school and knock on the door.
Can you come out and play?
Yeah.
But it's crazy though. When we were kids, remember when we all got like our own landlines or like at least a phone in our bedroom?
Yeah.
And it became like, man, no one knocks for me anymore.
Yeah. Mom, I'm on the fucking phone.
Yeah. And then it would turn into, oh, no one calls me anymore. Everyone's just texting. And now it's like, no one's texting me anymore. They're just writing on my Facebook wall. And no one's even talking anymore. This is like a stale argument. Like, there's a huge disconnect. We're all aware of it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, with
to
photography, I think it's like diluting it so much because there are so many. Every story is told now by a photograph.
Yeah. And
I think that it needs to be considered as more like a precious medium. We don't have to take a photo of everything.
Yeah. Well, this is another thing that I've picked up and have read about, that being a journalist and like a video journalist or a newscaster is everybody can be that. If you're there first on the scene of something and you just film it with your iPhone, you can sell. Right. That's before the journalist or the person from the radio station, from the news station gets there, and you can just sell your footage straight to that.
Right.
And you can go around and follow shit, like, and do that. And it's like,
have you seen that Jake Gyllenhaal movie?
Nightcrawler? Yeah.
Oh, sick. It was such a good movie.
It's fucked up, though, too.
Yeah, that movie was awesome.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm actually writing a feature right now. Like a feature that I can shoot for low money and shoot easily, but it's really good for modern times. And whenever I tell someone the idea, it's kind of reminds them of that, because there's nothing else around that's like that. I'm not going to say it on the air because someone's going to fucking steal it. It's brilliant in my eyes. Maybe someone else will think it sucks. I'll tell you afterwards, and I just want to know your opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, Nightcrawler was sick. But
that was great.
The only thing that really creeped me out is when he's filming his partner die.
Oh my God. And when he goes into that house and he's just filming this dead family and he's like propping it. Yeah. He's styling these dead people.
Yeah.
Oh, that was twisted. But that was a cool. Yeah. And I mean, I've even heard things with the newscasters now. They're like, if someone dies, like they love that. They love tragedy. And look with everything, with all of these riots and.
Do you feel... See, there's one thing that I can see in, for example, even though it's a movie, in Nightcrawler, when he puts the camera up, he can film anything. What I've realized in my life is when I look through the lens, it disconnects me from what's really going on.
Absolutely.
And it turns into the photo other than what's going around. So like,
right, because you're doing something else now.
Yeah.
There's another verb. You're now taking a photo. You're not involved.
Like, I like, to be honest, like, I like being in risky situations. I like shooting in gritty neighborhoods. I like shooting fucking the dirtiest shit I could find.
Yeah.
Like, it's what's interesting to me, and it's raw to me, and I know, like, I love black and white, high contrast. Like, that's my style.
Right.
But really, I'm putting myself in danger by getting the stuff that I want. But if I'm shooting something, say if I'm, like, in an area where I feel a little threatened or I'm in danger, and I go up and take the photo of it. All that fear and everything goes out the window. Because when you put yourself behind the camera, it's like, it's not the real life anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. That's like National Geographic photographers have said they put themselves in super dangerous situations with wild exotic animals because they don't realize how close the animal winds up being to them, and they're just like stuck behind this camera. Like, see, I don't like that because I have such like what I try to capture with my photography is this weird emotional side that kind of like provokes a little more
Like,
it provokes the senses. Like you.
Would you? I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
From what you just said, I don't want to forget this. Would you rather your character or your what you're photographing not know you're taking the photograph, or would you rather have it beefed up a little bit to where it's like a better photo?
This goes back to what I was saying about candidly photographing a controlled environment.
Style, and I know it's your style.
Because in that sense, they're not posing for me, but they know that I could possibly take their photo.
Yeah.
Because I don't want someone to pose. I think they get stiff, they get weird.
Yeah, they get
But I also don't feel comfortable. Like when I went to Peru last summer.
Yeah.
And the people there are just so beautiful. They've got this beautiful skin and these exotic features, and their clothing is just gorgeous. Yeah, it's just amazing. And I couldn't take photos of anyone because I thought to myself, you're not a prop. Like, you're living your life, and I'm saying, oh, this would make a good photo. Like, they're living in poverty. You know, I felt like I couldn't. All I could do was accept that I thought that it was a beautiful thing. Yeah. I couldn't take advantage of it. Yeah, I don't know. So I like being in a more controlled environment, but not completely.
Yeah, you want to have some challenge, and you want to try something new, and you want to push the envelope.
Yeah,
a little bit.
So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
I really liked. I remember your one photo. I don't know where you took it, but I think it was like some kind of St. Patty's Day Express.
Oh, God.
The guy on the SEPTA bus.
It was a bunch of dudes like hanging out
the window.
Bus. Yeah.
That was at the gallery, the first gallery you did. I always loved that photo. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, thank you. I actually don't mind that one. I think it has like a good composition for being on the fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool though, because these people are drunk and they saw that I had like an expensive camera. So they're all, take my picture. So in that case, again, they aren't posing for me, but they're aware that a photographer, is on site, and it is possible that their photo might be taken. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't like being intrusive. Yeah. And so a lot of things like events, weddings, people are expecting a photographer to be on site, so it's less invasive and weird.
Yeah, you're saying you really like doing wedding photography. I enjoyed it as well because it's just a great environment, and it's the happiest day for these people's lives, and you can feed off that energy. And how much wedding photography do you actually do?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah. So for 2016, I have
out,
17 weddings.
Wow, that's awesome.
And yeah, I kind of want to die a little bit just thinking of it, but.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but you have unique couples that contact you.
The most quotable thing is everyone just says, we're doing a very DIY wedding and we want someone more artsy. And, that's kind of, that's.
Yeah, you can make that happen.
Yeah. And I think I get a lot of people who don't like their photo being taken. They don't like to be posed, and I do have a knack, I guess, for capturing people like in their natural ways, or just putting them together in a really romantic way where they might not be the shining star of the photo, but instead it's the environment they're in or the lighting they're in, and they're kind of like tiny off to the side. Yeah. But
those
so what my goal is to create photographs that they want to hang on their wall. Yeah. Where it's not so much a portrait of us. Yeah. It's like a piece of artwork that they were a part of. Yeah. It's the same reason why people have their portraits painted instead of
you use color in a really unique way. And it's not to where it's more enhanced in the actual environment. Yeah. But you do editing in a way to where it definitely enhances the photo in enough way to where it's good, but not too much.
Like not distracting.
Yeah. Do you do black and white work a lot, or?
Sometimes if it fits. A lot of times I'll do black and white if the lighting is super dramatic, because I think there's got to be something strong about the photograph, whether it be the light, the color, or the subject. So a lot of times if the lighting is really harsh and like there's this awesome amount of like black shadow being casted and then just this little glimmer of bright white light that they're sitting in. Yeah. I feel like that is a great candidate to be a black and white photo because the lighting is what's shining through there.
What do you
No
what
pun
are you
intended.
shooting on now?
I use a few things. A lot of times for work, all the time, I use a Canon 5D Mark III.
Okay, and where do you work? I know you have like
Quaker City Mercantile.
okay, which you do.
It's an ad agency in Center City, Philadelphia, and we do creative work for liquor brands.
Oh, cool.
So right now I'm working on like I shoot for a bunch of different brands, but personally I'm responsible for Tamworth Distilling and Mercantile, which is a small batch distillery in New Hampshire.
The one you tell me about.
Yeah. And then a new one that was just released a couple months ago called Lo-Fi Aperitifs. And it's just this amazing line of like 3 products. It's a dry vermouth, a sweet vermouth, and an Amaro that, they're just wines that are infused with all real botanicals and really good integrity behind both brands. And they're great to work on rather. And then I also have a 6D, and then I shoot film
6D.
With a Pentax, and I've been shooting a lot of film
Hey,
mostly
I was about to ask you
personally.
That. You shooting film? Are you shooting color film or black and white film?
It doesn't really matter. With film, I think the best part is the color. So it's typically
film is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it offers like an amazing color. And I actually
do you light meter it, or do you have a camera that kind of like shows you where you're at?
Yeah, it does have a digital light meter on the inside, but it is completely manual, and you have to set everything.
That's
yourself,
actually how I learned to shoot, which is
me too. Well, I began photography digital, and then when I went to high school, our photo program started with film, and then developing our own negatives. That's what happened to me, actually. Yeah, I remember going to Bucks, and we had to like develop some film.
Bucks.
Yeah.
You went to Bucks?
With you. Well, we shot like a roll of film, and you were making me hold like giant ass leaves up to my face.
Oh yeah.
And then you couldn't get your film on the reel, so then we had to like do like a snaky switch, and I went into the little closet and that thing where you go.
Yeah, you came to class with me?
Once. Not into class. I think this was like a weekend, and you just went in to process some negatives or something like that.
Oh, but you came into my studio lab? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was probably when we were like 21 or something.
Did I give you any of those photos?
No.
No, because they came out really fucking good. You were wearing that plaid jacket.
Oh god, that black and white one. Okay, so that was definitely when I was like 20.
Yeah, but it was so
it was
good for black and white.
Yeah.
And like the whole idea was behind it was I wanted to show, which my teacher didn't like, which whatever. She was hot. I let her get away with it.
Okay.
I wanted to do photographs of you in the same location, but the area we were in, every 90 degrees of the location was a different background. Like the one was a bowling alley, the other part was woods, the other was a cemetery, and then the other way was a train station. Yeah. So I wanted you doing like the same kind of image.
Yeah, we like jumped around Croydon. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
And
forgot about that train
the
station.
photo, I loved film, man. Like I loved the whole process, and that's fine. Yeah.
Do we pause it or just?
No, I'll probably just talk to myself. Okay. Yeah. She mouthed to me that she's going to the bathroom, so I just blew her up about that. But that's what people do. They go to the bathroom, especially when we have espresso, water, and gin all lined up together. Which I'm pouring a little bit more gin, because why the fuck not? You know what I mean? We don't really haven't really drank on the podcast. Me and Ian had a couple paps, but it's Sunday, so you know what? End of the week, I deserve some shit. She's offering me some good stuff. It is St. George gin, which is a very cool bottle. And then she's mixing it we're mixing it with pink grapefruit juice Italian soda, which is a great combo that I've never had, but I'm enjoying it very much. And it's cool. The podcast, I think I said this already, but the podcast I did with Mateo Scammell was like 4 blocks from here, which shows that they don't know each other, but there's artists that are that close to each other that don't know each other. And I think that even though they're different forms of art and different, you know what I mean, industries that they're in, that they're still all related in the sense of it's relatable. And I'm glad that I got them both on. Both very talented people. And hopefully you can check them out.
And I'm back.
She's back.
We were talking about film.
Yeah. I want to get a film camera. I do, because I really love the process, and I feel like some of my favorite photos that I have are on film.
Yeah.
It's like I can literally close my eyes and just snap a photo shot, and just that image is like looks so much better than anything else that I've done.
Yeah, I mean that's real
film cameras are
photography
cheap
right
as
there.
Shit, too.
Yeah, but the film and processing is not at all.
So I remember I only shot film in school, so we had our own digital darkroom and had the chance to do that. When you do that now, do you just send your film out?
Yeah, I don't.
Processed?
I mean, I think there are dark rooms in the city,
Yeah,
but
you can rent that.
Honestly,
it's a fucking process.
Well, and it's just going to be so expensive. Like when I learned in high school, we had all of the chemicals and the enlargers and
Like
the facilities to do it, but then the paper, it's so much money, and there's
Yeah.
just so much waste because it's so much trial and error that I go to this really great place on 13th Street, right at
Give 'em a
13th
shout
and
out.
Sansom. It's Philadelphia Photographics, and it's amazing. They're great. Everything I get back is outstanding. Digital prints also.
Yeah.
I've printed like giant 30 by something size prints.
Really?
And they're flawless. They're amazing.
Yeah. If you have after we do this, I want to see some of your stuff that you got printed out. I would love to, because I've seen some of the work that you've posted, but I know there's definitely some stuff that you have around here that I haven't seen. Love to see some of your new work. All right, another question I wanted to bring up. I seen a photo of you about 2 years ago, on a fucking camel.
Oh yeah.
What? I need more information.
That was I went to Egypt.
Really?
With two of my close friends, Lynn and Rose. We found this deal on Living Social.
I know Lynn, right?
Yeah, I think yeah. You went to prom with me, and she was part of my prom group. And
at the prom,
yeah,
everyone's phone got stolen besides mine.
Best believe I was flipping chairs.
Besides mine, because I had a shitty flip phone.
Yeah, we all had like the slider phone.
Yeah.
That's when the slider phone was out. Not touchscreen, but
I had the same phone since 9th grade to 12th grade. So by the time that, everyone's like,
we'll leave that one.
We'll leave that.
At least they'll be able to get home.
Oh, my God. Anyway,
It's terrible. But yeah, so we found a deal on Living Social, and it was X amount of dollars to go to Egypt for like 12 days. And
Good
it was
deal?
this. Yeah, it's a big number, but I think it was like $1,500 or something, but it was all inclusive, food included, tour buses, hotels, all of the tickets to get into the Great Pyramids. Everything was included.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that was incredible. That was when I was, I think, a little less sentimental with photography, because I was able to get like really great photos of some of the locals.
I've never seen any of them, so I gotta check them out.
Yeah, there's one of mine. It's one of my favorite photos I've taken, which it wasn't as invasive as it sounds, but we rented these quads, and we had a tour through
quads, like four-wheelers?
Yeah, we rode quads through a dried out part of the Red Sea. Mm-hmm. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was sick, because it's just like mountains and mountains of sand as far as the eye can see. Then you'd find pieces of coral all around, because it used to be.
You have a bunch of shit that you brought home with you?
Not too much. I was really broke at the time, because I think I was only like 21, 22.
Yeah.
I think I was 22, maybe 23. I don't fucking know. Yeah. I think I was 22. And I do have a piece of coral, though. It's sitting over there on my window still. You see it like in front of that white vase? Yeah. But anyway, they took us on a tour and through the desert, and there was this hut where this a woman was making naan, and which it looked like naan in Egypt. It could be considered something else. Well, I know with Indian food, it's called naan. It's this flat bread that they make, and it's really delicious. And I don't know if it's naan, but it looks like naan. It looked like it was made in the same process. So I don't mean to be ignorant. I don't know what it's called. But she had these 3 children who were just wearing these like beautiful, brightly colored outfits, and they were just sitting next to her as she made this bread. And I took a photo of those little kids.
I think I know that photo.
Yeah, they're just sort of sitting down on their knees. Is that your cover
photo for a while?
Yeah,
I do know that photo.
I actually have that print hanging in my room.
It's a good photo.
I love that.
Colors were good. They were wearing like bright colored things.
Yeah, and I guess I felt comfortable taking that photo of someone else's children because it was presented to us like as something we could do, because they welcomed us into their little home, or if it was just so it felt more like welcomed, I guess. Yeah. But that was an amazing trip.
Yeah.
Funny thing about that camel though is, so before we got off
camels are fucking huge.
This is like a story I will tell my grandkids. It's one of those like really terrible things that happened to me that I'm so glad that it happened to me, because it's just it's maybe my life is lame, but I think it's a good story. So before we get off the tour bus, our tour guide's like, do not show them your money, because in Egypt they will try to upcharge you, because I think it's like 6 Egyptian pounds for every $1.
Okay.
So you go over there and you're baller, basically.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah. So for a local to ride a camel, I think it was 50 Egyptian pounds. So for us, that's
like $11 or something.
Yeah.
Less than that.
It's nothing. So before we got off the tour bus, he says, give me your money now. I've already negotiated the price. Do not show them money. Do not get on another camel. Do not give them one of your cameras to take a photo of you on the camel. Nothing. You were riding the camels, and then we're getting the fuck out of here. Because it's like next to the Great Pyramids, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And
they got some schemes they're running to make some extra
right
money.
Because they know we have it and we're vulnerable, and I think that's the way in many countries, also in America, taking advantage of foreign people. So I get off the camel, everything is good, and then I see this camel sitting there. It's just sort of resting, laying down. So I take a photo of it, and then this guy stands up. And he says, do you like my camel? And I was like, yeah, I'm just, I
guess.
Just, great.
Camel.
Loving it. Yeah. So I'm just like,
humps.
I'm just taking a photo, and I am I guess I shouldn't say this on this public of a platform, whatever, but I'm vulnerable, I'm too trusting, and I'm naive. Like, I will admit that about myself.
Well, you're a nice person, and you put other people before yourself.
I really want to be trusting, and especially when I'm a foreign person in another country, they say that you should be on guard, which I believe to be true, but to an extent, I want to be like, I'm on your turf. Like, let me adjust to what you've got going on.
Yeah. You have respect.
So he's like, take a picture of me with the camel. So he stands next to his camel, and I take a picture of him, and I'm kind of like, all right, dude, like, I don't want a photo of you, but I'm sort of just being friendly, like, okay. I took the photo, and then he goes, he starts talking to me, and it's not really that long of a conversation, but he's like, I'll take a photo with you with the camel. And I gave him my fucking camera, even though that was like the second rule. That I had 3 rules, and I just broke
all of them.
All of them. No, it gets so much worse. So, but because we have built this, I don't want to call it a relationship, but we had he wanted me to take his photos. I was like, all right, we're just sitting here taking some pics, no big deal. So then he says, you get next to the camel. So I'm really like second guessing myself, and I stand there awkwardly. He takes my photo, and he goes, put your hands on the camel. So I got a little closer to the camel as to be more friendly, and he takes another photo, and he goes, lean on the camel. And I was like, no, I do not want to lean on this camel. First of all, it's a gigantic fucking animal on like the hillsides of Egypt. Like, I don't
prehistoric creatures.
Don't want to do that.
It's like, what the fuck?
Don't want to do that. So then he says, just sit on it. I'll take a picture. It'll be a great photo. And I fucking did it. This is the most embarrassing story because I'm such an idiot. So then he goes, and the camel rises up, and I'm just like, ah, like going 9 feet into the air, just saying like, fuck, fuck, fuck. This is everything I was not supposed to do. And then he takes the camel by it's kind of like a leash, and he starts walking me down this gigantic hill to where I'm like 40 degrees on a diagonal, just looking down, riding on this camel. You can't even
get off.
Yeah, and all I hear is Bree, Bree, and just the people on the tour bus they all got on the tour bus, and I was missing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is exactly everything. I should just pull out my wallet and make it rain on this dude. Like, let's just break all the rules. And the guy had to buy me back down, the tour guide, because he said, I'm not letting her down. I gave her a ride on my camel. This is my camel. I gave her a ride. And I was like, no, dude, you fucking kidnapped me.
Yeah.
And so that they had to pay him like another £50 to let me down.
That's like a quarter in American dollars.
Dude, walking back on that bus, I was mortified. It was like, I'm the stupid fucking white girl who doesn't.
No, but you want to experience some cool shit.
Yeah, like I was trying to just. He totally took advantage of me, and I'm sure he needs the money more than I do.
You know what I was waiting for?
Shit sucked. It was so scary.
Did he take the photo of you on the camel?
It was that sick ass one that you see. That's
come up. Come up.
I know.
The story isn't worth it.
Yeah, it's like the 2 pyramids are perfectly in the back, and I'm riding a camel like with my hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the best. Well,
he's probably ran this scam enough times where he's like...
He's probably got a website now. Yeah.
This.
He knows what's up. I don't even know how he knew how to fucking work that thing, but...
Yeah, right. Fuck, that's hilarious.
He took that photo. I am not fucking with you.
No, what I was waiting for? That he didn't... And it took off, and he just ran with your camera. That's what I was waiting for you to say.
I mean, that's it. Like, the camera at that point has no value to him. You know, he's just trying to, like... school me and
fuck, that camera has mad value. How much money he could probably get for that in
I know,
a place that's made out of sand?
Yeah, that's that camel photo.
Shit, that's the most technology
quite a story.
They can't even have radios over there.
Yeah, but Egypt was cool. It was an exhausting trip, but
so did even though you felt like almost that taking photos was a little not inappropriate, but just you weren't comfortable.
Like invasive,
yeah, invasive. Did you still get a good array of photos that you were proud of?
Yeah, from Egypt, definitely. You know, not the best, because like I said, when I do travel, I tend not to take that many photos.
Yeah.
Because...
You want to experience the...
Yeah, and it adds a whole new stress. You're like, I got to get this shot, and I got to get this, I got to get that, when I just want to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a good amount of photos. One that I'm extremely proud of, and I think that's enough.
For sure. Did you? I remember you were talking a little bit about starting video, like doing some video work, just to mess around with it. Not saying like professional.
Yeah, I like dabble for work. Sometimes we need to shoot video content, and I can shoot it to save my life. But I'm not a good editor. I'm not too experienced with video editing, but I do like shooting video, but it's definitely not something I invest myself in. I'm pretty sure that you have some knowledge on it and you've researched it, but 2 things with shooting with DSLRs, which I feel from shooting with cameras that aren't DSLRs now, like higher end cameras, working with a DSLR, always shooting 24 frames per second. Okay. Because that's what the eye sees, like the blur of our hand. Right. That's what your eye sees, 24 frames per second. And when you're editing, even if the song is not in the editing, edit to a song, because your edit has to be on a tempo. That makes sense. Even if you just put a metronome, well, sometimes when you do edit and you put a song to it, you're like, damn, that door just closed to the beat of that song, and it all kind of syncs up. But you do that and you work it in. That makes sense. To do it, and that's like an editing strategy to where I've learned from other people that even if that song's not going to be in there, a lot of music is in the same tempo. Definitely. I think that you could do some cool video work, and video is fun. I mean, capturing a photo, doing video and photo almost the same amount. I've realized that photos is harder, because you're capturing one frame out of that moment. Yeah, see, I think that video is harder because you're capturing so many frames.
Yeah, but you
and
get
you're
to control
responsible for
but you can control
so
some
much more.
choreography and your camera movement. I love camera movement and like just from working on weddings and hip hop videos and doing other things to where like I love being in tune with the movement involved in the context.
Yeah.
And I fucking don't even need a tripod. I never need a tripod. I like rigs and I like being involved with the movement, and I feel like there's a relation between the camera and the subject that needs to be done to where like even when I shoot on a tripod I add like camera shake.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
It's something that adds a little more like a human approach to it without even being too obvious.
Because one thing that every movie does that's realistic, they shoot at eye level because if you were there, you would
it's
be
like from your point of view.
Yeah. It's very like super simple, realistic things that you wouldn't even think of because it's so obvious.
Right.
But like when you like
or happens accidentally.
Yeah.
You just happen to be always photographing or taking video, recording video at eye level because that's where you're holding the camera.
It
just happens that way.
Yeah. Just like in video, you can't zoom.
Yeah.
Because
it just looks fucking
when
awful.
you zoom, it brings the background to the foreground.
Yeah.
And your eye can't do that.
Right.
So you shoot in video, I only shoot with prime lenses.
Yeah.
So if you want to get closer, you get closer, or you put an 80 millimeter on because there's no time that your eyes ever zoomed in.
Yeah, it just kind of snaps from one scene to the next.
Yeah, and it's you can't zoom in video. Not even like the actual action of zooming, but shooting a zoomed shot.
Yeah.
Because your eye's not used to seeing a foreground that close to the background. It doesn't just zoom you, it zooms the wall behind you as well and creates less depth of field.
Right. No, that makes sense.
So
it's like unrealistic. It's not how you can see.
I just started shooting on different cameras than my 7D, and like I shot on like the Blackmagic. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
I don't know much about video.
There's cinema cameras, like the Blackmagic and you probably heard of Red before, which is like the biggest.
Yeah.
Red is like the biggest digital cameras thing out there right now, and they're the most groundbreaking, but the most expensive as well. And they have more of a film feel to them, like where DSLRs are great for documentary and commercial work and things like that because the video, like, it looks better than real life. Like, it's sharper than what your eyes see.
Yeah, everything is more separated with depth of field. You kind of have this nice difference in foreground and background.
Yeah. So shooting on this camera that I've been shooting on, the last film I shot was on the Blackmagic 2K camera, and comparing footage, it's like, wow, this looks a lot different. There's been so much. Like, even in photography, there's so much technology breakthroughs, like, every 6 months. But I feel with that, that quality is more accessible than ever. Like, you can shoot with, like, a T3i, and then also shoot with a 5D. And if you use both rocketing, you know what I mean, like an L series lens for Canon,
it's all gravy. Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's all about the lens. I mean, I've
really
noticed in the last couple of years that you read all these reviews and people do a side to side comparison of this is the 50 millimeter 1.4 and this is the L series 1.2 and there is such a difference in real life. Like when you look at those side-by-side images, for some reason you don't see it as much. Yeah. Maybe it's more of a performance thing when you're using it. Yeah. But oh my God, it's such a difference. It's just a shame that they're like $2,000 more.
I know that it's one thing that I try to do, but it's super hard. But shooting like live events manual focus. It's hard to do.
Which you have to do with the 60 and 70.
Yeah, because if you shoot in automatic focus, like it's not reliable.
And you can hear it.
Yeah, it's not reliable because it's just not. But you have to have like a super sharp eye trained for what you're gonna see
to make sure it's in focus.
Yeah. Because if you're shooting at a low depth of field, it's fucking it's literally within inches.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like. the 50mm 1.4, which I think you might have.
Yes.
Like not the 1.2, but the 1.4.
Right.
Which the 1.4 is just as good as the 1.2, so there's no reason to spend the L series.
I disagree.
Really?
I think, with photography, I think it's much quicker in low light, and you just get like such a sharp, like the bokeh on it is so different.
Yeah.
Whereas when you use the 1.4, it's like pixelated and muddy.
Okay.
But the 1.2, it doesn't offer more sharpness, but the muddiness, like the blur, the bokeh is like
low lighting.
In any kind of lighting. So if
Okay.
you shoot at 1.2, which like you normally wouldn't like shoot a portrait at 1.2,
Yeah, because only the nose is in focus.
Yeah, so like it turns that muddiness into like this really soft, dreamy blur.
I'll pay more attention
So
to that because
I think it really depends on what you're shooting, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do find that it just feels.
Do you have
better.
that the 50mm 1.2?
Yeah.
Series?
Yeah. Well, for work, we have like I actually started the photo program in my office with this other photographer that I was working with, and we were kind of like, we both use our own equipment all the time.
Yeah.
So we made this list of like amazing equipment, like the best, and then they approved it. You know, it belongs to the QCM.
Yeah,
but
you use
that's all we use.
Cool.
So it's nice to see, you know, what I use every day, and then I get to go to work and use this amazing. It makes me hate everything I own.
Are you allowed to rent things out or no?
No, we can't. It's too much of a liability.
Yeah, I hear that.
But
it was cool at the production.
It's cool.
Studio.
It's cool to be able to use
for
it.
a while, we could rent things out. It was cool. But
Yeah.
that job doesn't exist anymore. Things happen. Fucking yeah, I whenever I talk to people about cameras and everything, for some reason everyone's just like, yeah, the red, and I'm like, you have no idea that if I shoot your shit with like a T3i and L series lens compared to the red, yeah, there's gonna be a difference.
Yeah.
But not your untrained eye is not gonna see it.
Yeah.
Like people need to, like I'm waiting for that to be like something that like is more important than the camera.
Right.
Like especially for video.
Yeah, and that's why that's why like I don't hate on people who take photos with their phones. It can create some really beautiful images.
Yeah, because it's about the context.
Right. The equipment
photo.
isn't everything. And the equipment gives you this unfair advantage of you can take a photo of anything and you have like a great depth of field. Like it's going to be at least interesting enough. Like think about all of the photos you took when you were just starting out as an amateur.
Yeah.
You took a photo of like a squirrel in your yard or like a flower and it had depth of field and you're like, damn, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
But all it had to offer was depth of field.
Yeah.
So newcomers into photography do that. They have depth of field or it's just in focus. I have a lot of photo friends who just sort of started and they always ask me what I think of their work. And I'm like, well, it's in focus, but it's not a good photo. I mean, I get how you were able to achieve a photograph, like you took one, but it doesn't mean that it's something that you should hang on a wall.
Are you the kind of person that can, you know what I mean, really say how you feel? Like if someone says like, what do you think of this photo? Can you be like, it's not good, but yeah, your focus is in and I see what you're trying to do, but that's not a good photo.
Yeah.
That's good because there's not a lot of people like that. And that's one thing I've had a problem with, but it's something I've decided on actually recently where like, I'm not going to let, because I know I can take shit. I can take criticism and shit.
Right.
But I don't like to do that to other people and put them in a situation to where I feel guilty for what I say. But at the same time, it's like, you got to call someone out on their shit because they need to hear it.
Yeah, and I think there are a little more rules to photography as more than there are in, let's say, finer arts like painting and sculpture. Mm-hmm. It's a little more open-ended.
Yeah,
but
and subjective.
Right. With photography, I think there's a lot more technicalities.
Yeah, the whole camera thing.
Don't get me wrong. The creative aspects of it are endless. You can do whatever you want. You can manipulate. You can do multiple exposures. Whatever you want to do. You can take photos that are blurry, you know, like whatever you want to do. That's not what makes a good and bad photo. Yeah. But if it's, you know what, I don't really know how to explain it. If you're taking a portrait and the face is blurred and it's supposed to be this really traditional image, then you have failed as far as I'm concerned. Like you do need knowledge of photography in order to accurately do it.
What you're saying is I just burped again.
A little more of a science to it, I think.
There's rules that are meant to be broken.
Right.
But if you can't get those original rules down, you're not allowed to break them.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. This is I don't know if this is the art world or if this is just the world we live in now, but it's really strange.
Everyone's got a different route to where they get to where they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially with social media, things catch on that wouldn't before. You know what I mean? Now it's so accessible.
There's no platform to do it.
Yeah, and to be honest, like when I see somebody that has like 25,000 followers, for some reason I think that they're more important than people that have
It's just natural. You must think. You must think.
Yeah.
And that's where I was saying where sometimes you get that self-doubt where you're like, I don't have 10,000 people following every picture I take. Does that mean I'm not as good? But then like the story I just told, it's like, well, shit, I'm a real photographer in the end who is employed and I have a job and I should take photos every day. And it's not to say one is better than the other, but it's becoming something that really confuses me.
There's two things that go into that where you figured out something that works and he's figured out something that has worked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not that he's right and you're wrong or you're right and he's wrong. It's just that with the accessibility of what's going on right now, he's figured out a way that works.
Right.
And so have you through a different way. It's just your way is a more of a traditional way.
Right.
Which doesn't make it more right than what he's doing.
Right. Because I wasn't...
But you can't beat yourself up about that because you both have figured out things that have made you come to the same level of success.
Right. And I think it's a good thing.
But it's
confusing.
It is.
You know, we were brought up in
you
have to go to college and I didn't even graduate college. So I'm not saying I took a traditional route.
I got my associates.
I've
college.
been practicing photography since I was 13 years old.
Yeah, I know.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's just with social media, we're given like so many new opportunities. You know, people who have a food blog, they're now being featured in Savor magazine and all of these like great food publications.
Are you envious of this, or do you feel excited about this, and are you accepting to this? Because I have mixed emotions about it. But
it's definitely not envy.
Yeah.
Because I don't see it as needing. I don't see it as actually offering real like feel goods or anything like that. I think it's just like people follow your Instagram. It's not a real thing. You know,
but it is.
Yeah, but that wouldn't offer me something in my real life.
Not to
when
you,
I sit down and I look at
this guy got a fucking job. It probably has a reason because of that. The
Yeah.
same job you got for what you do.
Yes.
So you got to give that some kind of credit. Like for example, when like people say like fuck Justin Bieber or fuck this artist that's coming up, but like if you're a musician. Mm-hmm. Like Justin Bieber has figured something out that you haven't.
Right.
He's talented, and he's gotten to a place to where.
Well, that's I think the point where we need to break down the talent. So I think he is a great performer, and he's a great like personality. Yeah. You said before I have
not anymore. That motherfucker's falling apart.
But like
running people over and spitting on fans.
But like he has accomplished something that has given him a successable career, whether it be his good looks, his performances. Yeah. As a collective,
he was like
his whole being is like offers him something that makes us want to watch, makes us want to give him our money to see him perform.
Yeah, I don't give that much.
But I do not think that he is a good singer. Do I want to go to a open mic and hear Justin Bieber
or
sing?
Pay $100 for his fucking concert?
Or if I went to, this is a better example, if I went to a cafe and there was an open mic night and someone with Justin Bieber's singing skill if they performed, I'd be like, this guy kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But because he's Bieber, he can do. It's like the new Kanye album. Yeah. I think that shit is garbage, and I think everyone else would think so too. But because Kanye put it out, and he has already won us over by all of his other amazing albums,
dude,
we're forced to be like, "Yo, you have the credit because you are a genius." But this album does suck. But people are convinced to like it.
But I'm to speak about Kanye West. This can go on forever.
Open a can of worms.
I don't want this motherfucker saying that he compares Michelangelo and Versace.
Oh
and
no!
stuff.
But
like,
to me, I think that's all satire,
that's
and he's just
the walk shit.
Yeah,
like,
he's trying to. He's just trying to be. I think it's funny.
Wow, you made leather jogging pants. Suck a dick. Who cares?
I find it so funny. Like his Twitter is. I could read it for hours. I think he's hilarious. I think he's very satirical, and he's. It comes from a place of confidence, but that's the thing.
Like Late Registration
so he's
and College Dropout.
He's earned his keep. So now we're just forced to say applaud him for no matter what he does.
Like, you know the song Mama, I think it's called? It's like Michelangelo, I don't know. I can't quote it, but it's with I think Gold Digger and a couple other things, but it's like a straight through listen to album that's like amazing.
Yeah.
And like Through the Wire and like
oh god, yeah,
they're fucking amazing songs. But it's like the ego of that just completely transformed to where like he's so hateable at the same time.
Yeah,
as like you want to like him, but like his new shit is like trying to push the envelope, which I think that everybody should, and like everyone evolves as musicians.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, I love the album cover. I think it's really awesome and unique and different. It's very like progressive.
Yeah.
But
are you talking about the one with the naked girl on it? That's
no.
That's
this
older.
is the newest one.
I haven't seen it. What's it called?
God, I think isn't it called Waves? This album? Oh no, it's called The Life of Pablo, I think. And I listened to it. You can stream it online, and
okay. I'm not gonna pay for it. So yeah,
there was one song that I liked, and I only liked it because there was a Sister Nancy sample. I was like, wow, he's got some good artists on there, but or he sampled other good artists.
He's a great producer. Like
and
for example, like that Otis Redding
it just
song
sounds like a hot mess
with Jay-Z.
Oh,
that's so amazing. Like Otis Redding's the fucking man.
Right.
Do you like Nina Simone?
Oh yeah. Well, actually,
he took some of her shit too.
There's a Nina Simone sample on the same song I was just talking about with Sister Nancy.
In the past 2 years, I've fallen in love with Nina Simone.
Yeah, it's great.
She's written so many songs that I didn't know that were hers.
Yeah. Have you seen the Netflix documentary?
Yeah,
What happened to Nina Simone? Yeah, it's amazing. It's heartbreaking.
Too. It is.
Yeah, it's definitely good as an artist to keep challenging yourself.
For sure, and it's fun to push borders and do different things and try different things and add in production value to photos and things like that. But at the same time, like, you know what you like, and you're gonna stay within that range unless there's really something that pulls you out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you like? What's some things that you know what I mean you would tell yourself at like 20 years old wanting to be a photographer and doing things? Like, what's some things you could tell? Because I mean, I really hope that this this podcast can inspire people to and give people information on just stories. Because like one thing that I get a lot out of is biographies of people who are successful because they obviously figured something out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you figured something out, and it'd be helpful for people that are maybe doubting themselves or haven't really dedicated fully. I mean, if there's something that you could give from your experiences, like what would that be?
Well, I mean, as cliched as it is, I think that hard work definitely plays a huge part.
Cliché's not bad. Cliché's cliche
for a reason.
Yeah.
But like what you said, when you read these biographies, a lot of the times it's this story of struggle and hard work. Yeah. And you like, I've read, John Lennon's biography, and he taught himself how to play guitar and just kept playing and playing and playing. And then something finally happened. So I think that typically like the greats, they come from a place of hard work and not, my dad was able to get me into the business or something like that. And I mean, great people do come from that. You shouldn't hate on someone for a luxury
There's people
or
actually
connection.
get like better opportunities because all they have to do is put their focus towards one thing.
But I think, honestly, I worked a lot. I practiced a lot. I think one thing that I realized that I didn't focus on is building collections of work that I think is really helpful because it's a way to strengthen your skills. Yeah. You strengthen your skills, you challenge yourself because you're like, how can I build, let's say, 15 pieces of work to fit under this one roof?
Yeah.
Whereas anytime I'm approached for to do a photo show, I look at my work and I'm like, wow, these have nothing to do with each other. I sometimes wish that I had cohesive pieces of work. So I think it's important to always be thinking of new projects you can work on, you can collaborate on, because then you can, in the end, you have something that you accomplished.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, I took 10 cool photos. You're like, I completed a project. I saw it through. And then you can show that as a piece of work. You put it onto your portfolio.
Yeah.
I think people need to focus a little more.
Yeah.
Have
other
a focus.
than just, like, it's good just to go out and take street photos and do things.
It's
and
practice
just do studio photos. But, like...
and with that comes inspiration.
Yeah.
So you can go on the street and say, like, oh, I took a really great photo of this older woman crossing the street. Maybe that leads to this whole series of photos you're doing of women crossing the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the experimental shit will inspire bigger ideas, but then I think you need to explore those bigger ideas.
Yeah. Like, what type of lighting is your favorite? Like, what are you really drawn to?
Definitely natural light.
Yeah.
I like, an evenly filtered light. I mean, the golden hour for me is good, but I prefer like stormy days where it's not raining.
Overcast?
Yeah, but like
no
today
shadows.
It's a cloudy day and it's not perfect, but there's times where like a storm is about to roll in and everything is so vibrant. So the calm before the storm is like the sickest lighting you're ever going to get.
The colors are so bright and there's no shadows.
Bedroom lighting, I think, is good. Like
the
when you're in a
clouds
hotel,
are the best filter. Fuck any filter that any company's made. The clouds are the best filter.
But dark clouds, like when the storm's rolling in it, it just makes great light.
Because you can be at like 100 ISO.
Yeah.
And really get every strength that your camera has.
Yeah, it's perfect.
An image, yeah.
Another thing I like is like filtered window light, I guess, like especially like in a hotel room. I think it's the most like sterile, moody light.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you're ever in a hotel and you've got this like amazing light coming on, like shining down on the bed, it's like the perfect portrait light. It's so intimate, but it's not too shadowy. Yeah. I don't know. One photo. I realized that I was in Vegas last week and
last week.
Yeah.
Traveler, man.
Yeah, we went to Vegas and then Arizona to see the Grand Canyon.
That's awesome. You saw the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, it was.
Really? It's a big fucking hole.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was breathtaking. But the golden hour is great.
Like, it was breathtaking, really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was stunning. It was incredible and scary.
Yeah.
But
like you can walk to the edge and just be at the edge.
Yeah. So we were actually reading some statistics about like all of the deaths in the Grand Canyon a year. And Sam was running off with some of them.
Who'd you go with?
Sam and Kate.
Sam Gonzalez and...
no, Sam Bromberg.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Sam Bromberg and Kate. Cool. How's Sam doing?
She's good. She's great.
I haven't seen her in so fucking long.
Yeah.
And she's a great person.
Mm-hmm. She's solid.
She's funny as fuck.
Yeah. She's one of the most authentic people you'll ever meet. She's very loyal.
Personality. And so is Kate. Mm-hmm. That's why you three get along good. I'm glad that you stayed friends because...
Yeah, we're all really tight.
That's good. That's really good. I'm happy for that.
But yeah, Grand Canyon. I highly recommend it.
A lot of people fucking died.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what I was saying. So one guy had with all due respect, but he drove his car into the Grand Canyon to commit suicide. Then there was someone who fell off taking a selfie because you step backwards.
You know how many selfie sticks created deaths in the
selfie
sticks?
Yeah.
I love that statistic. I'm sorry that people died.
I know.
But
I was like, what the fuck? You fell in the Grand Canyon taking a selfie? And
how deep is that shit? How long are you in the air for?
What's that?
If you fall off the Grand Canyon, how long do you have to decide, fuck, I'm dead?
Yeah, during the fall. I was thinking that. I I wasn't near the edge at all. I was kind of a coward. I was really threatened by the Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
but I was thinking, I was like, man, if I
safe.
fell off, I was like, how long would I have to say something? And I was like, what would I say? Like,
you have enough time to call somebody.
So that's
like,
the question
for
you. What would if you were falling a great distance into the Grand Canyon? What would your falling words be?
I don't know. I think I just.
I
would. Yeah. Well, it depends on how much time I have. If I have enough time to post something to somebody, I would, or call somebody, I would.
Oh my God! You're gonna just go in your pocket as you're doing a 360 through the sky.
Yeah, I would definitely do some cool shit.
Take a selfie,
like flips.
Post it real quick.
I'll do some flips.
Bye, y'all.
But
I think the answer is you become some soil for the Grand Canyon to thrive on.
Pretty much, because I'm pretty sure you just explode into
a bunch of little bits.
Yeah. That'd be a badass way to go out, though.
Yeah, not the worst way to die.
No, you want to hear something good?
What? Yes,
quick,
I do.
This is a story I heard from the comedian Bill Burr.
Oh, God. He is so funny.
He's great. His Netflix specials are great.
Honestly, probably the only comedian with good stand-up these days. I've seen some really bad ones on Netflix.
I'll give you some good ones. I got some good. I've been getting into stand-up a lot.
Okay.
And I'll give you some good ones.
Yeah, they're all welcome.
But Bill Burr, who is fucking hilarious. He's been around for a long time.
Too good.
He told a story on his stand-up about a guy who there was this helicopter company in L.A. That's been around for like 50 years, and the parents gave the company to the son.
Okay.
So he's the one that gives helicopter tours across L.A.
Okay.
So within the first week, he's up giving a helicopter tour of this guy. This guy's about 70 years old. And the guy just opens the fucking door and jumps out to commit suicide. That was his way to go.
Holy shit.
So first of all...
Like into the city? So he probably just landed on someone?
Over the sea.
Oh, damn.
Like he was like suffering.
That is very thought out.
He was suffering with a lot of like body issues and a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to get out of agony. So he was like, I'm gonna go up in a fucking helicopter and jump out, which is badass as
very
fuck.
strategic.
But this is this guy's first week of owning the company as the son.
Oh my God.
He did this whole skit where
what do you do? Like at that point, you're like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Put your seatbelt back on, and then
exactly
suddenly
what the skit is. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Put the seatbelt back on. What are you doing? No, yeah. fuck. Like, what do you do?
Oh my God.
And but the guy lived.
What?
So he lives, but he died in the hospital soon afterwards. But imagine like thinking, this is it. Oh. Thank God. Then he hits like, like just every more problem just hits you at the same time.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know. How did they save him so quickly?
I don't know.
Water landing or something?
I don't know.
Wow. That is really salty though.
Yeah, that is.
Like, dude, if I was the guy operating the helicopter, I would be like, fuck you. Oh my God, I'd be so mad at that guy.
Yeah.
Don't die on my watch.
For some reason, that story can be told in a hilarious way. It's ironic.
It's because it was that.
What is the best platform to see your work, reach you, and everything? Pretty much like your plugins, like all your social media or emails and everything like that.
Honestly, probably my website. I update my website really often. You know, a lot of people say, oh my God, I haven't updated it in years. My work is terrible. I update my website first, always. So I would just go to that, and on my website, there are links to my Facebook and Instagram, and my website is...
Yeah, but you got to drop these... I don't mean to just say it, but you have to spell these motherfuckers out. Because
all right,
first of all, I got to plug them underneath in a link.
Okay.
So people can just click on it easily.
Okay. Well, my website is breannefurlong.com.
Okay.
It's BreanneFurlong.com. Yes. And if you visit that, you'll see my most updated work all the time. Weddings, personal projects, whatever. Mm-hmm. And there you'll find my Instagram and Facebook.
Cool.
My Instagram is Breanne Furlong. All of my contacts, just my first and last name. So.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's good that you know what I mean. It's not like you went through the struggle of finding like what your name should be, And thankfully,
I got those even 7 letters, Breanne and Furlong.
And thankfully, somebody sitting in front of me gave me my nickname, which kind of...
Shay.
Yeah. You did
God,
that.
every time someone calls you that, I kind of pat myself on the back
Do
a
you
little.
know people that...
Shay.
People that...
Wait, that was from MySpace Top 8. I wasn't even calling you that in real life. I just put Shay as your name on my Top 8.
And do you know people like in film
MySpace.
school who have no fucking clue who I am or who you are will call me that because they see that's what I've been called throughout social media or whatever.
It's crazy.
And like I get caught introducing myself as Shay.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It fits you.
You created this thing to where it's like, but the thing is, Shay is a real name. Like I've met another Shay.
I've met women named Shay also.
Yeah, and I met guys named Shay. I feel like a douchebag saying my nickname, but it's like you're allowed to have a nickname if you didn't give it to yourself.
Yeah.
I can't be like, they call me Big Dick.
Yeah, it's not like we're calling you like Sling Blade or anything.
Yeah.
We're just calling you by your last name.
A piece of my last name. And I've always been called Schaefer all throughout sports and baseball.
But Shay is like a name.
Yeah, it is.
Because it is weird to call someone by their last name. Like if you were calling me Furlong, I'd be like, slow down, man.
But I'm not going to lie. People do that.
Yeah, people do call me Furlong.
I know you've always been like a healthy, conscious person. Like I remember the one time I slept at your house, you made me in the morning, was it wheat pancakes?
Oh, probably like whole wheat pancakes.
Blueberry,
and
egg whites and low-fat syrup or something like that.
Yeah,
and that
probably
was a
like
long
no high
fucking time ago.
Corn
so you lived with your aunt.
Yeah,
Which somehow was dating the guy that was my neighbor like 20
John,
years before that.
They're still together.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get a hold of his son Brandon.
Yeah.
Because he was like one of my first best friends.
Yeah, it's cool. It's small ass world.
It is.
Northeast Philly is a small place.
So I went to my corner pub first, and I wasn't really digging that. And we went down to McCulligan's, which is maybe Leon and Brighton or something like that. And it was like all families and like family owned. And people were like, "Do you want to sit down? Do you want to? Here, I'll call the bartender over for you." And like everybody was so like nice and like friendly,
welcoming.
And, yeah. And it's just the way it is. We were talking about that, right? Like that makes sense to whatever you said.
Yeah. Just how Philly is just small town Philly.
Yeah. The Northeast.
For a second, I got lost. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah,
but then I wrapped it together.
It's the story of my life.
Yeah.
It's the story of my life. One thing that I did want to start asking people is, one thing that I explain to people about this podcast is that I'm looking for people that are contributing to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing that is contributing to Philadelphia?
The one thing I love with photography is I'm able to capture parts of people's lives or parts of the everyday that are really beautiful things and people might not otherwise see them that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important. So a lot of my photography has a really precise focus point.
Yeah.
It's not always so literal of, okay, I'm like with weddings sometimes I'll take a photo. I'm really big into hands. That's hand photography is. Mm-hmm. I'll take a hand portrait before I take a photo of a face.
Tell a lot. Hands
right. So it might be I don't really know how to explain it, but I try to take a photo in a way that like really stimulates your memory and you see it and you can remember how it smelled in the room, how you felt, what the weather, what the temperature was, like all of those things. So I think if I'm giving any kind of gift at all or anything to anyone, it's that I'm giving them the ability to better remember like the best moments of their lives or the hardest. I mean, to remember anything is, especially as you get older, is a accomplishment.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's definitely the best compliment I get on my work is that when I look at your photography, I feel like I'm there. Yeah. And that is something I'm like, shit, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's cool. It's always good getting compliments, but it's the ones that you're going for obviously impact you in a serious way. And that drives you so much more because you know because not everyone's the same, but when through photography and like say weddings or events, normally everybody wants the same outcome. They want to have something that is...
They want their memories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they want it seen in a beautiful way, just the way they've seen it. Maybe usually photography captures it more beautiful than it actually is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So doing that for somebody, it's like so rewarding on both ends. Like with me doing wedding photography, like it's like beautiful to me because like, yeah, weddings are a formula and doing them for a while, it's kind of like backbreaking by the end of the day and things like that.
It's really exhausting.
It is hard work. People
Stressful.
don't understand that. Wedding photography is very difficult and stress and...
Yeah, I wouldn't call it fun.
That's why it costs so
sure.
much because there's a lot at stakes.
Post-production is insane.
Yeah, there's a lot at stakes, meetings and contracts, and
Yeah.
if you lose that fucking footage, you're fucked.
Oh my God.
Do you know, I don't know if this is, I don't know where I heard this. It might be from my old photo teacher, who's like one of the biggest wedding photographers in the country, who will be on the podcast soon, which is awesome. He said that if you... Anyway, I'll tell you why. I was on a shoot with him, and I did the video. It was like a last-minute thing, and he was doing the photos for the wedding. The wedding cost $180,000.
Okay.
It's a big wedding. And they said, listen, you know what I mean, I feel like you got everything, and you can be done, have a couple of drinks, which, you know what I mean, a lot of people do at the end of weddings.
Right.
And I went and put all my stuff in my car. And the guy goes, my teacher from high school, who's a wedding photographer, goes, where's your equipment? I said, I threw it in my car. He goes, where's your cards? I'm like, in the car. He said, go get them right now. And I listen to everything he says, because he was like a big...
Yeah, I mean, if someone
mentor.
robs your car...
And steals those cards...
You are fucked.
You can... This is what he said to me. You can be sued up to 8 times what their wedding cost.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me.
Those memories.
Yeah, because there's nothing that can replace them.
God, that theory is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I understand it. You know what I mean? Like, I back my shit up. Like, I got like a 4 terabyte, single terabyte on a computer, little flash drives, final projects, where the raw footage goes. It's all a fucking mess.
It's scary. That's why digital is scary. There's no negative. I mean, even negatives are scary. You lose them. Yeah. They're gone. You scratch them,
scary.
They're fucked.
Film's scary because the film could be ejected.
You can record over it. It can just glitch. It can just disappear.
Or the process of developing the film could have went wrong in some way. Or your ISO of film. What ISO do you shoot at when you shoot film?
I mean, I buy 400 film.
It's like a standard.
Yeah.
400.
And it works pretty well. Like when I only shot film when I went to Vegas.
Yeah.
And the Grand Canyon. And the 400 was good enough to shoot like the Vegas Strip, at a slower shutter speed.
Yeah,
and then
I shoot at
the desert obviously was perfect.
I like 1600 because I like super contrast, gritty shit, and like grain and all that. But I shot a 400 before. I don't know the exact name of it, but I do. There's not too many photo places around here, but on Southampton Road, New York Camera Video is pretty legit.
Yeah,
like. They do everything from film to digital, and their stuff's a little pricey because there's nowhere else around.
Yeah, because County Met closed.
Their rentals are very good deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I used to rent from, but I don't really rent anymore. But
you got your own shit.
Yeah, it's just you wind up renting it so much that you just got to bite the bullet and say, with this wedding, I'm gonna just buy equipment with the money and call it a loss. But
that's smart because you mean
you have to. That's what sucks about photo is that it's just so expensive. But I typically now I just buy my equipment from B&H online. You get it the next day. It's amazing.
So you have a 5D Mark III and a 6D.
Yeah,
and you usually rock like 2 different lenses.
Because I only use prime lenses. I don't use zoom lenses, so
that's good.
It is time consuming
Except
to say
I hope you have a
70
to 200 because that's like one of my favorite lenses ever made.
I don't. I have a 24 to 70, so it's wide, but I don't have like a zoom lens.
Yes,
I have a 100 millimeter, but
you know what the
70
lens. To 200 is, right?
Yeah,
that big gray lens.
Yeah.
That's like one of the greatest lenses I've ever seen. You could find one.
You need that for ceremonies, but I typically just get up all in there.
It's good for detail shots.
Yeah.
And it's good for capturing like candid shit from far away.
Yeah, because otherwise you're like
in their
creeping.
grill.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And
it's just I'll get to it eventually.
It's a good thing for
equipment's a slow build.
Yeah, it's a good thing for zoom. Like when I was telling you, like I never like you shoot prime lenses, which I do too.
Right.
But for any zoom lens, that's like my favorite zoom lens for sure. Because even when you zoom in, there's a lot of depth of field in that to where it doesn't affect. I mean, the image that you see from your eye.
Right, it's like very clean.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's there might be 3 versions of it now, but there's a lot of ways to get it for a cheaper price because I think it runs for around $1,600. But you can get a used one for like $800 or $900. It still costs a lot, but it's worth it if you have that.
It's fucking heavy too.
It is. It's crazy because when you shoot that with a tripod.
I was about to say that. You need like a tripod, like a separate thing to hold up your lens. Well, and it has a thing you can...
The tripod hooks to the lens.
Yeah.
Not the
camera.
So
that it's balanced. Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
You see that a lot at like sports and football games where they have it on a monopod.
It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's super cool. I don't know, man. I just love fucking cameras and the technical aspect.
It's very rewarding.
It is. And like you were saying before, like it's a quick reward.
Yeah, instant gratification.
Yeah,
and it makes you feel good. Like when you take a good photo, you're just like, this is why I struggle to take good photos all the times for this one shot.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like, because I've researched just like wedding photography and things like that, and they say that the average person takes 1,000 photos at a wedding. The average shooter.
Yeah, I think I typically take closer to 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm there for 9 hours.
Yeah.
So, 200 shots an hour, and you're also overshooting because
people look down upon that, which I don't know why.
Well, I am very choosy. I probably shoot. Usually it's like 16 to 1700.
Yeah.
But I'm there for 9 hours. I don't usually work with a second shooter, so it's just me covering all grounds, every aspect of the wedding.
Yeah.
Pre-ceremony, ceremony, the party. Sometimes it's like 4 fucking hours, and
I know.
You take a lot of photos there because there's so much movement and dancing going on, and then
that's just fun. I love reception
with
photography.
that, you have a challenge because you can have a great photo where you think they look beautiful, but then she's like, fuck, I love this photo that wasn't my good side. So I find that I'm better off overshooting because I want them to feel beautiful. I don't know what they love about themselves.
That's one thing that's
crazy. If they don't look good in that photo, they don't like it. Because I wouldn't. I love this beautiful artistic photo that I look terrible in. That said no one ever.
How about the issue? There's actually something we worked on together a long time ago. I don't know if you...
With a Canadian couple?
I'm going to say something not so positive, so I don't know if you want to bring up... Not like they're going to listen to this shit.
Well, maybe not, because it was a client of mine.
They wanted, like, facial features changed.
Oh, yeah.
Photos. It's like...
Well, that's a service that I do offer. If you have acne or... A tattoo that's ruining the photo for you.
Well,
you can pay extra to take it out.
I don't like my nose at that angle. I want my nose to look smaller.
Well, there's a price for everything.
Yeah.
So you want to pay me an extra X amount. Like if I make X amount an hour, I'm going to go through and edit those photos, come back with a number and say, it took me, I don't know what I just said. I'm going to go through those photos and fix the nose and... If I come back and say, this took me 3 hours, that's this amount of money.
You're good
take it or leave it.
You're good at that, like liquefying and like
kind
of pushing.
It is easy, but when you're doing it to every photo,
yeah.
The bride is someone who's going to be in almost every photo.
Yeah, so. People don't realize when you edit a photo, it could take you anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour to edit.
Yeah,
one photo.
Or it could be quick. You could batch things if everything worked out, and it's really simple, but. When you have to go in and do those details, not only does it take you a long time, but then it takes a long time to export. Yep. It takes a long time. Like if you liquefy something and hit apply, that takes a good 30 seconds sometimes to
not to mention getting a hard drive to give to them and doing this.
Yeah,
and doing
go to the post office.
And the communication with doing a wedding.
It's a lot of maintenance.
There's a lot of communication. That's kind of what drove me away from it a little bit, and I kind of leaned towards second shooting. because it was like kind of just like you come in, you get paid, you drop your footage, and it's it.
It's one and done. Yeah.
Even though it's not as much money, it's kind of like.
No, I like second shooting sometimes.
I like doing detail shots.
Me too.
I like that kind of stuff.
But I definitely don't want to be a wedding photographer. I know that's a part of who I am, a part of my job right now. But people always say like, "What do you want to? What is your end goal here?"
So
and
I didn't have to.
It is not to be a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great, but it's physically so exhausting, and it puts you in such a box. Like you're so limited.
It's a formula.
Yeah, that.
It's the same. Like
I love doing it now because I'm still learning so much. I've been doing it since I was 20. I'm now 26, so I've got a lot of years under my belt.
Yeah.
But it's not something I see myself doing forever.
Do you feel like I also feel with wedding photography, a wedding is a formula, and a lot of the things are repetition. Even though it's like. Literally, I love it. Like after I shoot a wedding, I'm in a great mood because like everyone's such in a good mood and they're so nice to you and like
it is a beautiful thing to witness. But I do love that.
After doing 30 of them, it's like I've seen this before. I know this.
Yeah, it's weird. Some weddings make me say like, "Damn, I want to get married." This just seems so awesome. You're like the way they're looking at each other. It's just such a beautiful thing. Yeah. Sometimes you hear like the speeches and you're like, God, these people, they just love each other. It's amazing. Yeah. But other times you're like, I saw that on Pinterest. That's not your thing. Like, I think, it's whatever. I'm not judging anyone when I'm shooting, but it is a formula in the sense that you're like, okay, I have to get the getting ready photos and then I do the ceremony.
You do
and then
your best job at all times, no matter what situation.
My favorite part is definitely the bride and groom portrait sessions because you can get a little more intimate and creative and
when there's no one else around they get more comfortable. Mm-hmm.
It's just less hectic too. I mean, bridal parties can be very challenging because
everyone's drinking during the day and
one of the last weddings I did last year, one of the groomsmen was giving the shocker in every single group photo, so I had to go in and Photoshop them all. I'm like, you did the shocker.
You photoshopped his hand out of it?
Yeah, I just
so
took
he's just holding knuckles?
No, I just cloned another hand. But it's like,
did you ever clone a face on a face? Or eyes?
Yeah, I've actually
open eyes on closed eyes.
Actually, one of my friends, I did an engagement session for her as a gift, and she's stunning, and her fiance is very handsome also. But he was kind of making this face in a lot of pictures, whereas like she would look stunning. So I had to take the ones where he looked really handsome and clone his face onto the less attractive photo. And I showed it to her and she was like, this is hilarious. I sent her a screenshot of me like dragging the face onto the face where he wasn't looking so hot.
It's so crazy, like what you learn to do over photo. Like when you look at magazines and see people that are like, oh my God, this model's stunning. Like you have no idea what's been done to this fucking photo.
Dude, even myself, if I take a self-portrait and I have a blemish, you better believe that shit is coming out.
No, it's self-portrait I really like that you did. The one that you did in the window with like the newspapers on the windows.
Oh yeah.
That was a cool photo. You do good self-portraits.
Yeah,
and I don't think that
they're hard because
they are.
You have this idea in your head and then you execute it, and it seems almost like a challenge to even get the picture in focus because you're using a remote, a tripod. Yeah. You can't get the angles right. They're tough. So
but there's a whole art with that. Like that's been done.
Oh yeah,
that's been done for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like this lady Patty Smith, the book that I gave you. She did a lot of self-portraits as well. Yeah,
a lot of people like build their career off self-portraits because, start it anyway because they feel more comfortable, rather, especially with like things that are
it's
nude.
Just you.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna just use myself.
Yeah. I actually seen this is retarded. I always search through like Craigslist and like film.org and things like that just for like interesting projects that are popping up and people that are looking for people just to see what's out there. You know what I mean? Because not like Craigslist isn't the worst place to look for work.
Right.
So some guy posted up, I'm a male nudist. I'm a male nude. He wanted people to take pictures of him naked and saying like, I'll do it. So I just clicked on it and literally it's just pictures of him like, holding his dick.
Oh my god.
Like, I have no problem with you taking pictures of
that's like
his
some
dick.
porn.
And I'm thinking of, like, dude, you're uncircumcised. Like, I'd have a problem with that.
What? It's not a bad thing to be uncircumcised. Well, dick's a dick in the end.
I agree.
Can't hate on that.
But obviously you've seen some uncircumcised dicks. Otherwise, you wouldn't be
I'm just saying,
it.
it's a cultural thing. So,
It is.
It
is, but my kids.
If you were uncircumcised, it had nothing to do with a decision that you've made.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think that we
Not
should
at
knock
all.
anyone.
I agree.
Penises unite.
I agree with you.
Well, on that note,
we're about hitting time limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so this is the part where you drop every plug.
I thought I did that already.
No, we said how we're gonna do it. You did it a little bit.
Yeah, I said that my website.
But you're gonna do it again anyway. So
okay.
I know exactly where it's at within this.
Okay.
And I can link everything below in every outlet that I drop this into.
Okay.
So people can find you and hire you because they fucking should if they're smart.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Breanne Furlong. My website is breannefurlong.com. Mm-hmm. And that's Breannefurlong. My Instagram is Bree Furlong. You can find me on Facebook at Breanne Furlong or Breanne Furlong Photography. But my website's probably the best thing to keep up with if you're interested in viewing my work from time to time.
BreanneFurlong.com.
Yes.
Just your name, no photography at the end.
Nope.
Just your name.com.
Yep. That's also my email, breannefurlong@gmail. So my name is pretty much the universal.
Simple.
Yeah, universal handle.
This shit is simple.
It's simple.
My shit is fucked up.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Do you feel we've covered everything? You satisfied right now?
I am satisfied. Yep.
Because I'm like 3 gin tonics in, and I remember like the last 10 minutes of this conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And you're a great artist, and you've really come a long way and went through fads and found your niche. And that out of all the people I think of, you're like, you've come in the first 10 people that I've ever worked with or knew that I wanted on here to expose. Because
Thank you.
I think that you should be credited more than you are, which I think that you get some good exposure, and you have a loyal group of people that follow your work and appreciate what you do. But I'm really hoping that this podcast picks up, and people can appreciate it for what I'm trying to do. And
yeah, I hope so too. I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that because
it's awesome.
My passion is just my goal is just to represent
the 215
Philly.
For those of you who cannot see through this microphone, he just pulled his lip down to reveal a area code tattoo on his inner lip.
Yeah, I have the face tattoo 215. That you can't see. It's a smart move. But I think people should hire you and work with you, and maybe you don't like to collab as much, but collab with you.
Yeah.
And
does not work well with
do
others.
Things with you
no,
because you're super creative in a lot of different ways, and I think that throughout your career, there's a lot of other ways that you can go with it and be successful. And I'm glad that you're doing it here in Philadelphia because there's a lot of people that I'm peers with that have left Philadelphia to pursue it. You know what I mean? And one thing that this podcast really is about is people making it in Philadelphia because it's fucking a huge
got everything
city.
we need here, right?
Exactly, yeah. And it's a tight-knit community, and everyone should use the resources they have. And thank you very much.
Cool, thank you.
I'm going to end this right now. I want to thank everyone for listening. I love you all very much. All right, later, people. Next time. Peace.